Seeing no objection, the meeting is called to order. Councilwoman Harris, if you could lead us in the invocation.
All those who are able, please
In
rise.
French.
At this meeting, help us to make decisions which keep us faithful to our mission and reflect our values. Give us strength to hold to our purpose, wisdom to guide us, and a keen perception to lead us. And above all, keep us charitable as we deliberate. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief Carlson, I think you're up next. I think.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to call up Officers Jonathan Coachman and Officer Jameson Pollen to the podium, please. All right, so I'll start to your left. Jonathan Coachman. Officer Coachman joined our team on March 12th of this year from Gwinnett County Police Department, where he worked as a police officer since September of 25. He also has previous experience as a probation and parole officer for Alabama Pardons and Paroles, as well as police officer for Ozark and Opelika police departments. Jonathan holds a bachelor's degree in justice and public policy from Concordia University. And our second edition, Jameson Pollen. Officer Pollen joined our team on March 18th of this year from the Kennesaw Police Department, where he worked as a reserve officer since March of 25. He also has previous experience as a police officer for Cobb County Police Department from 2020 to 2022. He has also served in both the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy. And at this time, Mayor, if you would come down and please swear them in.
Stay right here. Hey, how's it going?
If you'll just raise your right hand, please, and then just repeat after me. I state your name.
Jameson Pollen.
Hereby swear or affirm that I will faithfully, fairly, and without malice
Hereby swear or affirm that I will faithfully, fairly, and without malice
or partiality uphold the laws of the state of Georgia,
or partiality uphold the state of Georgia,
as well as any ordinances which I am authorized
as well as any ordinances which I am authorized
to enforce to the best of my ability
to enforce in the best of my ability.
And support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia.
And support, defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and welcome to Dunwoody. Officers Coachman and Pollen, I cannot thank you enough for choosing Dunwoody as your professional home. We are so grateful that you've chosen to give us your time and your talent and help us protect our community. You have landed in a community that's very supportive of our police department. And we are so thrilled to have you. And to your colleagues behind you, as always, there are not enough words to express how much we appreciate the work you do in your community. So thank you again for choosing Dunwoody and welcome. And I'm going to clap one more time. Thank you. All right.
Okay, good evening, Mayor. I'm going to call Officer Hernandez up to the podium here and to recognize the volunteer hours for the citizens on patrol and our bailiffs that have just gone above and beyond, putting in their time here, helping us out with court, and seeing the extra vehicles out patrolling the city and being another set of eyes and ears out there. Teresa's going to come up here. Officer Alexander also, both of them run the community outreach unit and they do an outstanding job. All right, Teresa.
So everyone can hear me. Good evening, Council. So this evening, we would like to recognize all of our volunteers for the city of Dunwoody. So there are some that are here. There's 10 people that unfortunately could not make it. This year, what we've done is we've given every one of our volunteers a certificate. And on the certificate, it has their name as well as how many hours that they've worked in 2025. In the past, we did have something called a presidential award, but the company that does the presidential awards, just like I'm not sure what's going on with it, but I did put a hold on it right now. But we wanted to still make sure that our volunteers were, of course, appreciated and make sure everyone knows how much work that they've done this year. So if we can call up all of our volunteers with their certificates, please. If you have a certificate, come up.
Oh, they have.
You can all stand right over here for me.
Face the crowd.
Yes, please.
Officer Hernandez, can you explain to the audience what roles these
course.
fine, upstanding Dunwoody residents perform?
We
for
will.
us?
So to be a volunteer for the city of Dunwoody, the first prerequisite is to take the Citizens Police Academy, which we do have twice a year here in Dunwoody. We have one in the spring and one in the fall. And anyone that's a resident of Dunwoody, or if you work in a business at Dunwoody, you're welcome to actually join the academy. It's a 13-week class where you learn a little bit about everything that we do here at the police department. So you get to meet most of the staff that does work here. It's a great experience. And if you haven't taken it, we'll be opening class again in August. So look out for the new announcements for the new dates and the applications for that. So everyone here has taken the Citizens Police Academy. And so this is a group of a mix of our citizens on patrol. And what they do is, if you noticed a silver car outside that says Citizens on Patrol, they help out with business checks, residential checks. They are the eyes and ears for the city when officers cannot be out there. So if they see something suspicious, if they see anything that officers need to know about, they have radios and they can actually call officers to come out there to come help. They're another set of eyes and ears out there in the city. If you are on vacation and you need a home check, they're the ones that go out there and they do home checks for us. If they go out there and they do see something suspicious where an officer needs to come out, again, they have radios and they call us and we are out there as fast as we possibly can. And they are trained. That's another 13-week class that they are trained and they know the right protocols to do so. We also have bailiffs for the city of Dunwoody. And what they do is they assist with the court, they assist the court staff on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And again, they're the eyes and ears in the courtroom. So myself and Officer Alexander over here, we are the main people in court for court security. But they again are the eyes and ears where we can't see everything. So it's extra help in there. So again, everyone here, they have helped us with a certain amount of volunteer hours, but we do have a few that did make over 100 hours of volunteer hours in 2025. If I say your name, please raise your hand. We have Tilky Baker. He actually won at 195.75. Harry Lutz, he's not here today, but he did 166.75. Those are two of our citizens on patrol. We did have a lot of new people come in as well, and they actually assisted us with training a lot of those new citizens on patrol. We have Joel Gross. He did 123.25. Gary Barnett, 124.25. Dave Cote, And Dave Cote has actually assisted us with being our head bailiff. So he also helps us a lot of behind the hours. So even though he had 138.25, that's probably closer to over 200 because he also helps us with the scheduling and all that as well. Carrie Frederick. Carrie did 136.05 and Steve Spellman at 138.85. So they all did amazing jobs. And of course, even if I didn't say their names out there, they all did amazing jobs and they were right behind them, right under 100. But thank you guys for all you do. Do you want to add anything to it? Come on.
I'm the shy one.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Alexander is my name. Once again, we want to thank you guys for everything that you've done for us. We want to know that you guys are appreciated heavily with us within the department, being that extension for us out there when we're not able to get there, even when our street officers are not able to get out there for us too. But you know, when the call, we do respond. You understand that we have your backs and you guys take care of us, we take care of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Have a good evening. All right, guys, you're good.
Thank you. Y'all doing pictures?
Oh, yeah.
All right, now it's time. Thank you, Officer Hernandez and everyone involved in this program. We appreciate it. Now it's time for public comments. 30 minutes at the beginning of the meeting and 30 minutes at the end of the meeting. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. And we'll start with Kayla Bethune. Please forgive me if I pronounced your name incorrectly.
You nailed it. Thank you.
Okay, if you'll just introduce yourself so they'll hear you.
Of course. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kayla Bethune. I live here in Dunwoody and I work in IT audit and cybersecurity. I am here today as myself, my family, and friends are deeply concerned with the security and ethics issues that arise with the use of a third-party surveillance company within our community. So beyond the privacy issues that coincide with constant surveillance, I noted on Flock's website when I was looking at their current audit reports that their SOC 2 Type 2 report, which is an evaluation performed by an independent firm that evaluates how effectively a company is safeguarding customer data and enforces their security controls, was last reported to be done in 2023. Now, it was noted that they have since hired a firm to reevaluate these controls as of February of this year, but as it stands, I was unable to verify that Flock has a more current report. So a citizen of Dunwoody spoke at last month's city council meeting and demonstrated that he was able to access these cameras using common exploits. And another citizen was able to show via an open records request of a Flock event log that Flock employees were accessing cameras around Dunwoody, including those in sensitive areas such as the MJCC pool and gymnastics room. It was noted that this information was provided to y'all on April 7th, but to ignore these red flags is incredibly concerning and irresponsible when we're talking about the safety, health, and privacy of our children. So before we continue or expand the use of the third-party surveillance companies, I strongly urge the city of Dunwoody pause until the city council and Flock can answer the public's questions regarding Flock security and are able to obtain a more recent security audit. Thank you all for your time.
Jason Hunyer, I think you're here. Over there, I see you. Okay, approach the microphone. Please introduce yourself and you'll have 3 minutes, sir.
All right. So all the information I've found here is just what I've been able to obtain through public records requests. Although to find out who surveilled us and why in 2025, the city wants to charge me $5.4 million. That being said, by looking at what I have been provided, I continue to find a number of concerning things. This is from Flock's own FAQ page. Flock customers own their own data. Flock will not share, sell, or access your data. Flock employees access our data all the time and have admin level permissions. Flock employees conducted over 414 trackable actions in our network since the start of 2025. This includes disabling multi-factor authentication for users and disabling users showing up in search audits. They have also created users in Dunwoody's network that do not show up on the user exports. The system is not transparent and auditing has failed. The next part from their FAQ. Sorry, one more. All right. Nobody from Flock Safety is accessing or monitoring our footage. Who monitors the camera footage? We seem to be spending a lot of time talking about hypothetical children. Real children are being watched by Flock employees at playgrounds, parks, their schools, private gymnastic centers, private pools, and private gyms directly through Dunwoody's Flock network because the city refuses to take any meaningful action to independently evaluate citizens' concerns. Doing nothing is a choice. You meet with their CEO behind closed doors. You continue to ask the same people who would benefit from abusing the system to audit it and refuse to engage citizens outside of 3 minutes of public comments that you hide behind not being able to respond to. I continue to ask for you to hold a public town hall for these technologies and am ignored. You are choosing the wants of corporations over the safety of our children. Bob Carter is a vice president of business development for Flock. On September 30th of last year, through Dunwoody's Flock network, Bob Carter logged on and viewed one singular live view camera. This camera was in the gymnastics room at the JCC. He did not view any other cameras in the entire Flock network that day. On July 23rd, Randy Gluck, who is a business development manager for the 911 product you're being asked to vote on tonight, looked at 3 cameras at the JCC before he looked at the camera main pool right. It was over 3 hours before he looked at any other camera. Real children, real names, and real timestamps. As a dad whose son is going to go to the JCC for daycare, I have one question I want you to ask Chief Carlson today. Who is responsible for authorizing Flock sales employees to watch our kids directly through Dunwoody's Flock network? Thank you.
Former Mayor Denny Shortle, approach the microphone, sir. Introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Danny Charles, 2011 Woodland Way. I got 2 things to say, but number one is I want to talk about item 15 on tonight's agenda, special district tax. I was the co-chairman of the group that pushed the cityhood vote here. I knocked on thousands of doors. One of the big complaints that I received was that you're going to raise taxes. And that's why we put in the charter that you could only raise taxes to 3.04 mils. But now I see that you got a way here, and I call that backdoor taxes, special district taxes. I don't know if it's legal. It doesn't sound legal to me, but it doesn't trump the charter. And what you're doing is raising taxes on the citizens of the city without the proper vote, which is required by the charter. So I think you better take a good hard look at that before you vote on that tonight, or you're not going to vote on it. I guess you're just discussing it. But the idea that you can backdoor tax the citizens of the city, you've tried bonds issues, you've tried other ones that got voted down. So you're representing yourself and not the citizens of this city. Remember, you represent the citizens of this city, not just yourself. I'm going to talk about, that's enough about that, and just talk about Flock real quick. There must be some way to fix the problems that the citizens see in that issue. But let me just tell you, it's a good system in principle. Whether it needs tightening up, I don't know. But we catch people all the time passing through the city, getting the Flock with their their license off their cars, and arresting them. We keep people off the streets. If you want to clean it up, you don't want to have it, at the JCC, well, don't have it there. But don't knock that out for the rest of the city, because it's a tremendous safety factor for all the citizens of this city. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Zach Humphreys, approach the microphone, introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, Council. It's been a while. Zach Humphreys, 1509 Trotters Cove. I really love Lemonade Days because it's the time of the year when I feel like everybody in Dunwoody comes together. I love volunteering for Lemonade Days. And last year, when I was helping out with DPT at the tent, I did face painting. And not everybody here in Dunwoody speaks English, and we had some family members. Well, we had a family that came from the Hispanic speaking area over by Winter's Chapel. And I face painted a little girl. She was 5 years old. She didn't really speak English well enough yet, but I can speak Spanish, so I spoke with her. And the father was so surprised that like somebody spoke Spanish with her that he donated $10 to the DPT. I really hope that she's still getting like a good education now. I help out at food distribution centers where we go and give food to communities in need. And especially right now, our Hispanic communities are in a lot of trouble right now. They're very scared. They have a hard time affording food because many of their common workplaces, people get kidnapped by ICE. And some of that food makes it back here to Dunwoody, and I find that really rewarding. At the end of the day, this flock contract does not prevent ICE from kidnapping members of our own community. And I really love everybody in this community. I want them to be safe. I want them to be well. And at the end of the day, ICE can produce, whether it be a judicial or an administrative warrant, either to AWS or to a police department that we share our information with, and they will have access to those people's data. I hope that even if this contract does pass today, that there can be a post-flock future. There can be a future where y'all come to us and like, let's figure out something together where, we can have our own internal data servers where we employ people from Dunwoody to, code these new systems where we create systems in which we come together and we trust each other. And I think that that's the beauty in community. So I really, really hope that, please come talk to us. Please, let's build something together. Let's build a better future together. Thank you.
Jessica, I'm so sorry. I think it's Bull Bank or Bale Bank. Begins with a B if you're here. All right, just introduce yourself, please. Sorry, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Burbank. Thank you. I'm here tonight because mass surveillance has spread across the country, municipality by municipality, in the name of safety. And it might feel like a local issue. We're here tonight with members of our community at a city council meeting, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. They're building a national network of surveillance cameras, and I think it's time to carefully consider if this is really how we want to live in America. Flock's got a pattern of securing local government contracts with as little public input as possible, with as little information provided to elected officials as possible. In the case of Scarsdale, New York, on April 8th, without public notice, beyond posting a topic of public safety equipment, they voted to add to the agenda a decision to adopt a contract with Flock. They voted on it within that night, and it was adopted. The same surreptitious approach occurred in Sedona, Arizona. in Eugene, Oregon. In at least one case in Lucas County, Ohio, they secured a local government contract accidentally in a consent agenda. And when the county commissioners attempted to overturn this, Flock sued to ensure that they would maintain a contract that not only did the public not want, but the county commissioners did not want. So if anyone in Dunwoody feels that this contract has been pushed on you without enough information, maybe too quickly and without public comment, that's not just Dunwoody, that's been happening around the country. And I think this is an issue that requires public oversight and attention. Because in the case of Scarsdale, we've seen public records requests reveal that the police chief, Stephen Del Bene, was in touch with Flock representatives on January 15th. He didn't take office officially as police chief until February 1st. The public was not notified about the contract until April 8th. So months in quiet, they secured this contract, and Flock has provided a sole source justification letter insisting no other provider can give the technology that Flock has. This is not true, and this has gotten the attention of antitrust regulatory agencies. And now we're at the point where that same sole source justification letter signed by the CEO of Flock, Langley, is appearing in California, in Mississippi, in states across the country. And so today, a year after my investigation into Flock began, Flock officials will no longer speak to journalists on the record. They will not be named. They only want to speak to us anonymously. And I think that reveals a level of malpractice on behalf of a corporation if your own staff doesn't want to be associated with you. And so I hope you all look into the many cases around the country where Flock data is being misused, where the cameras are being accessed by individuals with questionable motives.
Thank
And I
you.
hope you look into the other
Thank
cases
you.
where they
Thank you.
secured contracts.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Isaac Thomas, I think. You will have 3 minutes.
Right. Hey, I'm Isaac. I wanted to quickly talk about the stalking case involving Jose Ayala, a police officer from Wisconsin. He was recently charged for using Flock's system to stalk his girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend around 200 times while on duty. This happened from March through May of last year. His abuse of the system was caught through Flock's built-in auditing tools, leading to him being charged. However, since this incident, Flock has revoked police departments' access to these tools. Without these specific auditing tools, it is no longer possible to catch a similar future abuse of the system. If Flock's system existed as it does today, back in March of last year, Jose would not have been caught. The mayor made a comment last council meeting about asking why all of these external police departments need direct access to our data. Why can't they just pick up the phone and call us if they think there's a dangerous criminal headed toward Dunwoody? Flock does the exact opposite of this. As of last December, Dunwoody no longer has access to view which external officers are searching our cameras or what vehicles they're searching for. I also want to bring up the police department, which is still in our system, titled, or do not use. Somebody is actively logged into this account, still running searches in the last 3 weeks. Last meeting, Flock was asked if Dunwoody footage is being shown overseas. Dan said, quote, "It is not shown overseas. It's a very common thing for workers overseas to perform that kind of very manual work, but they're not doing anything with the images other than testing them for quality," end quote. So Flock does send images to overseas workers. This process of gathering machine learning annotations from offshore human reviewers is largely facilitated through a third-party platform called Upwork. There has been documented evidence of North Korean IT workers purchasing Upwork accounts of real people to complete IT work and other tasks on their behalf. FLIR Research, in partnership with IBM X-Force, recently released a threat intelligence report uncovering thousands of North Korean IT workers impersonating people from all around the world, specifically through Upwork and similar platforms, with the goal to infiltrate Western companies. Thank you.
Sabrina Rahim, approach the microphone and you'll have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Good evening, City Council and everyone. I'm reading a comment on behalf of my son, who has been raised in Dunwoody but is attending college in another state. This has made national news, the issue of flock safety, and he's been following it. I hope that's okay to share his comment. Okay. Based on overwhelming evidence of deception, harm, and the potential for future harm by flock safety, Dunwoody should end its contract with the company. In the meantime, it's important for Dunwoody residents to understand that they should not use the Camera Connect service offered by the Dunwoody Police, and the police department should stop using it. Granting the police real-time access isn't simply a personal choice. Even if you don't care about your privacy, you are sacrificing the privacy and security of unsuspecting passersby. This is profoundly anti-democratic. This would be true even if individuals were aware of camera locations that share footage, and also if there were transparency about the manner in which the footage is used by the police. It would be true even if it weren't so easy for bad actors to hack flock cameras and access sensitive data, as demonstrated by Mr. Jordan and others. So if you have a CCTV camera outside your home or business, please don't share the footage with the police. And my advice for the Dunwoody Police is this: only seek camera footage retroactively to conduct a criminal investigation, and never without a judicial warrant. Thank you.
Kenneth, I gotta write bigger. Westmoreland, I think. Approach the microphone and you will introduce yourself, please, and you'll have 3 minutes.
It's pretty shocking to me that in what, less than a month basically, or just a month, that we found out that flock employees are not only lying more than they said they were, but watching children in Dunwoody. Like, isn't that mind-boggling? You guys want little Epsteins to have access to cameras all across your city? I mean, that's crazy to me. I'm not going to talk about all of the technical aspects of flock. I think that other people are going to talk about that or have talked about it. It just became clear to me when I was here last time that most of you all were not discussing whether or not you should accept flock contracts, but what little tiny changes you should make to try and get your constituents to shut up, because your ears are so plugged with their money. So to me, I couldn't understand how, after we've learned that they're logging into the JCC cameras, that they're sending footage overseas, on top of all of the other things that they're doing, how, when we know that they're lying to you guys, you could possibly approve this contract at all unless you're corrupt. That's my thinking. I really don't understand any other answer to the kind of question, because it's obvious that flock systems do not have the safety of anybody here at heart, right? At all. And that they're not going to tell you the truth. The only other thing I would just say is I beg you guys, I mean, there are people here, right, like over there, over here, who actually have the information you want. Last time you guys let the flock employees, I don't see them here this time, come up and just lie for like half an hour or an hour straight, and just say complete nonsense, while people who actually have correct information begged to give you guys the information on how flock worked. You know, that would go, I think, a long way if you just showed even a little bit of willingness beyond public comment to listen to people who actually know what they're talking about and want to tell you the truth and actually care about something other than just stuffing their pockets full of cash and creeping on children. I mean, that's crazy to me that they're watching the children at the JCC. Isn't that crazy to you guys? Is it? Are you not allowed to talk? I don't know. Oh, you're not allowed to talk. Okay. I mean, that's wild. It's mind-boggling. It's like, I mean, seriously, it's so absurd. It's like you couldn't make up a better idea for an absurd comedy sketch about people hawking cameras to police than that they log in and watch children swimming. Like, what are you guys talking about? That's ridiculous. And you're thinking about approving a contract with them? How is that sensible to anybody? It's like, would you put their camera in your child's bedroom? I don't know, but it seems a little bit like it to me. If you're thinking about approving the contract when we already know they watch the children in the swimming pool.
Aaron Miller, if you'll approach the microphone, and you'll have 3 minutes. Oh, introduce yourself, please, just for the clerk, and then you'll have 3 minutes, please.
Hi, yeah, Aaron Miller. Yeah, I want to believe that you guys have your constituents' interests in mind. I want to believe that you can hear the facts that are being laid before you and make a sensible decision. It really comes down to liability. You know what flock reps, what police officers are doing with all of this data, and just I don't know if and when things go wrong, you will be on the hook for it because you've been warned many times. We've already seen police officers in other locales abusing flock searchable databases to stalk women, as others have noted. Our own police department was recently embroiled in a scandal where I believe an officer held a tire shop owner hostage to get a better deal on tires. So maybe this isn't the best combo. I know there was a sexual harassment scandal as well. We've seen ICE and other agencies access local databases without the knowledge or approval of local law enforcement, even in direct opposition to internal policies against partnering with ICE. And as many others have noted, thank you to the research done by Jason Hunyer, now we have flock employees watching live streams of children doing gymnastics. It's disgusting. And it directly contradicts everything that flock representatives assured you at the last meeting. And if it doesn't already cross the line for you, that's a problem. But if and when this misconduct crosses yet another line into unequivocal stalking or, God forbid, something worse, you will be responsible and you will have to answer for the fact that you knew well in advance that this technology enables and facilitates these kinds of gross violations. And it's not just, about the fine details of the contract, because Flock has demonstrated in several other municipalities, including Syracuse, New York, Santa Cruz, California, and Evanston, Illinois, that they're willing to operate in explicit violation of their contracts, including secret prohibited data sharing, operating without state licenses in Texas, and reinstalling cameras after contract termination. It doesn't matter how solid the contract looks, they are willing to violate it if it benefits the company. And lastly, the technology is flawed. It's led to hundreds of wrongful detentions across the country, which has led to dozens of lawsuits against the cities employing the technology. And just, my last 20 seconds, just to point out another lie. At the last meeting, flock reps claimed that these cameras only capture license plates. Less than a week after they said this, GSP issued a ticket to a motorcyclist for violating the hands-free law. Maybe you've seen this. So you just really can't trust what they're saying, and I urge you to just look at the facts. Thank you.
How much time is left? Ann Hicks, approach the microphone, introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Ann Hicks, 5640 Woodsong Drive. Tonight you have a discussion item on the agenda for 2 potential rooftop solar projects on city-owned buildings. One at the Sproul Arts Center and one at the Shallerford Annex. I'm here as the chair of the Sustainability Committee to voice my support for both of those projects. This is all very appropriate since April is Earth Month and Earth Day is April 22nd. So I've been involved with both of these projects from the beginning, helping with the RFP and also participating on the bid review team. As you know, after retiring as Electric Utility General Counsel in 2024, I've spent a great deal of time advising congregations on solar projects, including for my own church. There are so many economic and environmental benefits of installing rooftop solar. Economic reasons include taking advantage of the federal income tax credit for commercial projects that's still in place through the end of 2027, and simply paying far less per kilowatt hour than you and I pay Georgia Power. So those are both excellent economic reasons. For example, my church, Dunwoody Methodist, has saved over $1,300 a month since we installed solar 10 months ago. $1,300 a month in savings on average. And the trustees are now considering a second system on our new gym rooftop for potential greater savings for the church. Environmental benefits of solar include, for example, saving tons and tons of carbon dioxide each year. So really, in short, this is a no-brainer. It's a golden opportunity for the city to save taxpayer dollars and show leadership on environmental sustainability. Moreover, Pillar 4 of the city-approved sustainability plan under resource efficiency has a section on renewable energy. It includes the following two statements. The City of Dunwoody will support renewable energy programs and adopt its use in government operations. And the city will invest in a demonstration renewable energy project such as solar and use it to educate residents and businesses on renewable power. Approval of the city solar projects would implement both of these directives. And by the way, the Sproul Center project includes an education component, so that'd be a great tool for educating the public about the benefits of solar. So in short, I support the projects. I know it's just a discussion point tonight, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay. Our last speaker, unless they speak less than a minute, is Amia. Where is she? Jakov, maybe? Is it D silent? I am a Jakov. Say that. Do it. Stacy, say it. She speaks other language. Here, go ahead. I have it.
I think it's Aima Jakov. Jakahov? Aima? Okay. Yep. That is definitely a joke. Or you could be like, I am a DJ. Cool. Okay. Well,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Way to waste the last time.
Yep. All good.
All good. One more. Sean Collins. I can let him speak pretty much. Speak quickly.
I have 3 minutes. I'll take my time. Thank you. I want to quote Chief Carlson from the strategic planning meeting 2 weeks ago, or retreat, I guess is what it was titled. It's on YouTube. And I quote, "The reason we put our shot detection down there is because it's a predominantly Hispanic community. They normally do not call the police, so nobody would call to report those gunshots. These are not enemy combatants. These are community members. And instead of, researching why they don't call, instead of trying to work with them and earn their trust, our police force has decided that it's easier to racially surveil them, whether they like it or not. Instead of looking into well-documented research around real solutions to crime, preventative solutions, we're going to spend another $200,000 on another flock drone, more surveillance, more reactive solutions. You've been shown example after example of how Flock's technology can be abused by police with proper access, as well as others with improper access. Real-world examples of stalking a single target. Why is it so hard to imagine a world where someone searches dark-skinned man, or Mexican teenager, or woman in hijab, or even man in yarmulke? Our own police chief has shown it's okay to generalize. Do you really think bad actors won't? There are better, safer ways to do this without Flock and similar companies. We should get rid of Flock. I have a minute and a half, so I don't know if I should stand here and just ramble about other stuff. I thought the presentation, let's see, was it 3 weeks ago by Ginger, was, I don't know, less than great. She just sat there and copy and pasted Flock's own website, and then she let Flock talk more than she talked during the presentation. Don't fact check me, I'm just guessing. I think it's bullshit that Flock gets to just walk up here or tune in on Zoom and hop in to answer questions during a presentation that was supposed to be by the city for the city. I think there's a lot of complaints about the city manager, and even in the new contract, the new MSA, and how he gets to approve stuff without y'all voting, without the public knowing and stuff like that. Let's see, I've got 40 more seconds. I should talk slower. I'll just read the speech again. So you've been shown example after example about how Flock's technology can be abused by police with proper access. Actually, that's kind of boring. I won't do that. I just want to congratulate everyone sitting here that has come out all these weeks and put their effort and their time into this to not only research and write speeches, but to try and inform you guys and persuade you guys. Yeah, I think it's awesome that the community is building, unfortunately, around a negative event, and hopefully in the future we can build around positive things instead. I yield my 1 second.
If you have a card, if I have your card, or even if I don't, there is a session of public comment at the end of the meeting, and we will go through the cards that weren't called, and other people obviously can speak. All right. I lost my agenda. Hold on. Oh, I found it. Next, Mr. Linton, your city manager report, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have Lemonade Days coming up April 22nd through the 26th. So please attend that event if you're able. It's the largest event within the city during the year, so it's very fun. Please show up for that. Also, we have two microchip stations have been installed, one at City Hall and one at Brook Run Dog Park for public use. These are to help reunite your lost dog with your owner. If you look out front when you leave, you'll see that chip station to your immediate left outside the doors. So that's there for the public. Also, we have within the police department, we've had our 18th annual Citizens Police Academy that's continuing now. That alumni will be recognized on May the 11th at that council meeting. Also, April the 1st, celebrated 17 years of service for the city police department. So congratulations to the department for starting that day and starting from the ground up to get the department rolling. Also, we have we're now accepting applications for our 6th annual Teen Police Academy, which is going to take place July 13th through the 17th. There's a link within the report for that as well. And there's also a link, other links within the report to look at our crime status and the comparison report there. Public Works, we have our Dunwoody Nature Center Wetland Restoration Project earned National Recognition Award from the American Council of Engineering Companies, and also our Brook Run Maintenance Facility. Sewer and power service lines have been installed. Site grading is complete. Curb installations going in, and the interior finishes of both buildings are going on right now. You'll see within that picture within your report shows 2 buildings. That's the new maintenance facility that took place at the old facility that had burned down. Google will be installing high-speed internet within the city during the month of April in several subdivisions, so be on the lookout for them within your neighborhood. Also, we have our stream restoration public hearing is this week from 5 to 7 on April the 16th at the Brook Run Pavilion. Dunwoody 101 is coming up this Friday, April 17th, and we have a full crew for that. That's an all-day event. It's a chance for the sort of citizens to meet staff and understand more about how the city operates. It's a great course that all citizens should take if they have the time to do that. Within the report is the Inside Dunwoody, D-News, and also we have our March 2026 Dunwoody Stories Report. So when you have a moment, everybody should check on that. Community development. There's another restaurant at Perimeter Mall that's coming soon. It will be just south of the Lazy Dog restaurant. So that corridor continues to develop out. Also, the Living Spaces store at Ashford Dunwoody Road and Ravinia Parkway is progressing. That building's in the framing stages right now. And then the former AJC building at High Street was demolished to make room for the next step of construction for High Street. So that continues to evolve. We are continuing to work on multiple public art projects for late spring and installation, including lemongrass sculpture on Shanley Dunwoody Road. Our external auditors completed the majority of their field work for this year, and that will be concluding soon, the entire report. The last item I was going to mention was municipal court disposed of 517 cases during this quarter and has reset 21 cases. So very low reset number, and they do move very efficiently. Mayor and council, I'm glad to answer any questions you have for this report, and my staff is available as well.
Tom.
Excuse me, I don't have any questions. I just want to make a general comment about we had the recycling, the electronics recycling event this week. I want to thank the Community Development Department and the Sustainability Committee. I had a bunch of old electronics taking up space in my basement, so I took advantage of that, went by. It was extremely well run and organized. It was very quick and easy and painless to go through. And at the time I got there, which was about 11 a.m., there's still about an hour to go, they had collected a lot of electronics and a lot of stuff there. So it appeared to be a very successful event, but also extremely well run. So thanks to our community development and sustainability for putting that together.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Stacey.
I just want to two things. If anybody's listening has a teenager, the Teen Police Academy is absolutely phenomenal. It's just really well run. My daughter did it a few years ago, and she's now a sophomore in college. And this summer, she's going to be doing an internship for the Jackson County Sheriff's Department up in Sylvan, North Carolina. And a lot of it just goes back to her experience with the Teen Police Academy. So thank you to that. The chip readers, are we going to get that out there? I mean, basically, if you find a lost dog, you can go to the Brook Run Dog Park or here and hopefully help reunite it. How are we getting that out there? I'm very excited about this.
Jennifer. Want Jennifer to answer?
Yeah.
Oh, or Kathy? Oh, she's busy. Okay. Sorry. Right. It's a busy night.
We'll be working with Rachel to put out a how-to video. So we'll get on that. Great.
And I think Councilwoman Harris and her dog should star in the how-to video because it was her initiative. So I think if you can make that work, that'd be great. Not that I'm telling you, I'm just suggesting.
And
it.
he's a cute little puppy. We can
Right.
do that.
Okay. Sorry.
And he does have a chip.
Right. There you go. Okay. Anybody else? I have just two things. One is that along with sustainability and our community development staff, St. Luke's Church on Mount Vernon is a big part of the electronics recycling event. They help us with one recycling event a year. We really couldn't do that without them because I don't know how it is that we do this annually, and yet every year there's so much stuff, it wouldn't fit in our parking lot. So we really appreciate St. Luke's support. And then Eric, when you said Google was something in April, they're just starting. I want to be clear.
That's correct. Yes.
So they're going to go to more than wherever they are right now. Okay, just to set expectations. All right, seeing no other questions, we move on to consent.
Madam Mayor, may I ask?
Yes.
That we take item number 5, the City Council Planning Retreat meeting minutes,
Okay.
and move that into, it doesn't really be it wouldn't be an action, but just
You
would
can-
rather have a
if you're-
discussion.
If it's not going to change your vote on the consent agenda, we can talk about it.
I think I prefer to just remove it from the
Then it
consent.
has to become a business item.
Okay, so if we could remove item 5
We'll
from the
move it
consent.
all the way down to 7, I guess, make it the new 16, I guess. I don't know, after everything else on business. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Go ahead, John.
I have a question regarding item number 7, if Ginger LePage, basically I just want to know how those contracts or the licenses are determined, and for the Microsoft 365.
Yes, I'm online. I'm sorry. For that, we have used a vendor that we used last year. It is a vendor that we had met and worked with in the past. We vetted them and we've worked with the purchasing department to ensure that we're doing it correctly.
So the 165 licenses is for one for every, is that how that works?
Correct. That's for every user. And then we have room for growth within that. So that is why there is a contingency percentage.
Okay, there's just concerns that was raised to me that we are possibly not using all of them that we have allocated, and how is that working?
So we only purchase what we actually are using. We have usually maybe one or two, I guess, extra that we hold on to because we have to issue them. Sometimes we have to have more than one person license issued at a time for people that have left and people that are onboarding and things like that.
All right, so you're satisfied that the 165 that we're allocating, that we are going to use them all and or that we are only going to be paying for those that are being used?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. No other questions.
Anybody else? So the
Approve.
is amended, because I,
Move to approve with the removal of item number 5.
Second.
any further discussion? Questions? I see none. Call the question. All in favor, say aye. Sharon, that is unanimous. Dang it. Okay.
The next item under business items, action items is the Block Master Services Agreement. Jill Dunn.
Okay. Before Jill comes up, I'd like to say a few words, if that's okay, on this item. So I want to start with the JCC situation. So when I learned of that, I was concerned and perplexed, and I requested more information. And when I learned why and how it happened, which didn't, I mean, it was what I would have guessed, which is that the members of the Flock sales team were using it as a demonstration to another potential demonstration of the E911 system or their system for a potential sales call with another law enforcement agency who didn't already use that particular service. I sought a solution, and where we landed is that Flock will no longer use Dunwoody for demonstration projects. So that is wasn't acceptable. They have apologized to the JCC, and they have so we will no longer be a demonstration location for Flock. That keeps them out of places they should not be. And so just to clarify the how and the why, and I'm not excusing it at all, I was very frustrated and angry. And, I believe this is a solution to keeping them from, at least part of a solution, from keeping them out of places where flocks should not be. I want to also address some of the things that were said in public comment because I think they deserve to be clarified. We haven't done any deal with Flock in secret. We have been customers of Flock since before I was mayor, I believe. I think Mayor Shortle was here when we started, and he's my predecessor. Everything we vote on is on an agenda. It's been fairly widely covered. And just the inference that we're doing something behind door, that we're taking bribes, it's all kinds of not at all correct. We talk about it. Something changed, someone became aware and paid attention, but we haven't done any of this in secret. I cannot stress enough that none of this was done without proper notice. Our meetings are advertised, our agendas are published, we're all over the internet, we broadcast. This is not new news to us. And then finally, in the process of evaluating the situation and the complexities of Flock, we learned two things. Well, we learned lots of things, but we learned that there are two paths to how we address this. One is through the service agreement that we are, a master service agreement that we are discussing and voting on tonight. The second is through internal policies and procedures that clearly need addressing. And that is a separate entity. That's a separate activity from the Flock service agreement. So I just want it to be clear that not every concern that we expressed up here, and certainly concerns have been expressed, can be addressed in the master service agreement, because it's not necessarily an issue of flock. Someone can correct me. It's an issue of how we're using flock. So with that, I think that was all my notes. Oh, and I was confused about the comment about the audit tool, because the audit tool still exists. There's still a list of who, I believe, because you're getting open records requests. Nope. Someone internally, maybe Jill can correct me when she comes up here. But, and in fact, my understanding is this Flock is getting ready to come out with another audit tool. So, and then also, Atlanta uses, just as an example, because we're trying, be transparent here. Atlanta uses Flock cameras. The city of Atlanta uses Flock's cameras, and then they use a different system at the end of that process that doesn't even provide an audit log. So it's my understanding, someone internal can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the audit tool still exists. All right. With that, I will invite Jill up. And this is an action item. And I'm getting all confused here. Jill, okay, so does anybody have any questions or concerns? Oh, are you going to present? Do you have a presentation planned?
I can just speak about
Okay, that's fine.
The background of how
That's
the
fine.
MFA has been developed, and then you can ask
Good.
questions.
Okay.
So what we've done is kind of start from scratch essentially and create this new master services agreement, trying to address the concerns that the council has raised in prior meetings, along with other concerns that we've become aware of. And I think that what this does is, as the mayor pointed out, this creates at least a set of guardrails to govern the city's relationship with Flock. It's not going to cover things that should more appropriately be the subject of policies that will be developed in the future. But this does create a situation where the city has a great deal of control over what Flock does with its state, with the city's data, where that data can go, where it can be disseminated, what it can be used for. There's the city manager has become the primary point of contact for approving virtually anything that Flock wants to do with the city's data has to be approved by either the city manager, if appropriate, or in some instances, the council and the mayor, depending on what the regulations provide. So this has created a set of, like I said, guardrails that govern the relationship between Flock and the city moving forward. The premise is that there will be a set of order forms in the future, each of which will fall under this master services agreement and be governed by the terms of this master services agreement, which cannot be changed without the mayor and council's approval in writing. We also built in that the terms and conditions, the privacy policy, all of the regulations and conditions that are on Flock's website today are frozen in place and cannot be changed. Those are what will govern and be incorporated into this master services agreement. So those can't be changed. The city will not be bound by any new terms and conditions that Flock may come up with in the future. Those will actually be attached as an exhibit to this MSA. So everybody knows, what they're getting into. I'm happy to answer any questions about any specific provisions of the agreement.
And Mayor, can I
Oh, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Ken.
Fill this part in?
Okay.
So the concept behind this MSA is probably fixing the past relationship into a document that is manageable. It still has to be negotiated. It's not a one-sided thing, although we made a list of everything we heard y'all talk about. And Jill and team, which included technology folks from her law firm, and also included the chief, included staff here, Ginger and others, to try to address those in a way that we felt like was reasonable. And we kept falling back on this concept that one, the past problem is these order forms, they sound as if they're contract terms being added, and we wanted to get away from that. We didn't want anything to overcome the MSA. The second is there needs to be some civilian oversight so that, and the chief agrees with this, by the way, so the chief was part of this conversation, that there needs to be some civilian oversight when new technology is developed, that Eric has the authority to approve the technology, and he can do it by email, but what he can't do is change terms and conditions by email or spend more money by email. We're talking about something that's a demonstration product that's out. If he gets enough that he feels like he's comfortable with us testing it, he can authorize testing it. But to change the contract terms or spend within his spend authority, it has to be in writing, period. And if it goes above his threshold or is non-budgeted, it'd have to come to you. So I wanted to address that. There was also an issue about, I'm going to say this for lack of a better word, toggle. I think I heard something about toggle. The toggle button is off, as I understand it, Jill, in the contract.
So that's, my understanding is that's the default, but even let's assume that that's not the default. The contract gives the city immediately the right to have it turned off, and it can't be turned back on or off without the city's approval. So the city has complete control over what happens with that toggle.
So going forward, and this is not going to be an overnight solve, Eric is going to develop with the team a set of policies to govern decision-making on the use of new technology in this field, and how and when it should be recommended to do it some other kind of way or whatnot. We feel like the policies are where the meat is going to hit the road, so to speak. But if they want to change anything, they got to go through civilian oversight. So it's not just law enforcement saying, we want this asset without somebody reviewing it to see if it fits the parameters. There was one other thing, and I'm having a 61-year-old moment. I'll get to it later. But I feel like the checklist has been addressed. Now, having said that, this is not going to replace us policing ourselves. This is not going to replace the police chief policing his people. This is not going to replace whoever from policing themselves. People violate the law all the time that are on the books. So we have to be good stewards of whatever it is we're using, and not just Eric and his team's policy or this city council's MSA, but we have to police ourselves. And so the questions that have been raised have been good things to think about. It's an education piece that we've done a really deep dive, and this wasn't something that's been going on for a couple of days. It's been going on for a while. And so I think there's been some heavy lifting. Is it perfect? No. I can't say it's perfect. I can't say is somebody going to violate something in this thing. But what I can say, it's much better than where we were. And I hope these policies will do more to entrench the goals and aims of the city council and law enforcement in carrying out its mission. But I want you to know the policies are going to take a little while to develop. I told Eric, we're probably looking 30, 60 days. So there probably won't be any approvals of anything until those policies are in place, unless it's something very, very easy, like let's look at a new technology. But as far as changing, whether it's called information, beta, whatever you call it, or changing pricing or terms, that has to be in a written instrument. And it either has to fit within the city manager's authority under our rules, or it will come back to y'all like everything else does. So.
Thank you. Questions? John?
I have a couple questions, but really I just want to say thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Jill and Ken and our legal team and our city for taking this seriously, and council taking this seriously. We've done a deep dive. We've looked at it. I don't know of any other city that has gone to this level and pushed back against Flock to negotiate with them, their president, their legal team, and all the rest. So I think we did our due diligence, first off. Second, as Ken said, we're not done. We're still looking at it. And I do trust and understand the legalities and the things that we're dealing with. And our city manager is still pushing forward and our police chief is doing his due diligence. So thank you. Jill, I have reviewed the current agreement in front of us, but I also looked at the other flock items that are on the agenda. One of which is the OS, the 911 OS system. In there, there's a link that shows the standard terms and conditions for us to approve. It was a contract for us to approve and for us to approve that. I clicked that link, printed it all out, and I was trying to compare it all. What has binding status over that? If there's a conflict between what we have in front of us now in the sense of the master services agreement versus the standard terms and conditions for the prepared communication service for the next, the OS system, the 911 system, which one has controlling or are they separated?
The master services agreement controls all of that, but I will say that it's a little bit confusing right now because, I mean, theoretically in the future, those order forms would, like, there's not an MSA in place right now for those order forms to fall under, so they're just gonna be kind of one
But
off.
we, by approving the master services agreement, have that locked in place.
That's right.
Okay, so I mean, we have a number of flock items on the agenda and each one of them has a link to their service agreement. It wasn't printed out. It's not in the agenda. It's not printed out anywhere. I printed it out. I saved a copy of it, but I'm saving it to make sure that it doesn't change in the future. But I wanted to know what's controlling.
Right, those are the terms and conditions that I talked about that will be, along with others, part incorporated into this document, but this document controls.
And John, the way it's on the agenda, if the MSA gets approved, and if one or both of the other things get approved, the way it's on the agenda, it's subject to not only our approval of the MSA, but full execution of the MSA. So if for any reason the MSA was not signed by Flock and us, or not approved by y'all, that it's a conditional approval essentially.
No.
But going forward, here's been the historic problem. In the future, it will be POs as opposed to this nice little brochure. It's got nice colors and all that, but tries to purport to be a new contract. The MSA is worded in a way that those future things are governed by the MSA as long as we have the relationship. Am I correct on that, Jill? So while the format they use is not one we like, the way y'all will be approving it is, if you approve it, would be subject to full approval of the MSA and full execution by both parties. So if the MSA is not binding, these approvals won't mean anything.
Okay.
To the other things.
And as far as Flock, what we approve today, if we do approve the master services agreement, where is Flock on their agreement of the MSA? Have they already signed off? I've not seen a signed contract from them. Is anything going back to them to make changes, edits, or how does it go back and forth? What's the status?
Well, there's been a lot of back and forth. But this is the last thing your lawyers are recommending that we can get behind. We can't. I would think Flock would want to change a couple of things, but they know what's here, what's before you. They've seen. I think the last pushback was addressed already. And Jill, have you heard any more? Yeah, I think they're they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to sign it this way, or there won't be a deal.
Folks, this is Dan. I'm online as a panelist, Flock's Chief Legal Officer, and we are absolutely prepared to sign this document. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's get a motion. Oh, go ahead, Stacy. I'm sorry.
So,
yeah.
And I didn't see it in the agreement, so sorry if I didn't understand it, but how often does the agreement get renewed? Or is it just looked at, or how often would it come back in front of council if we approve it tonight?
So my understanding is that it's based, there's a fiscal year attached to it, so you have to approve the funding each fiscal year, the agreement can terminate.
That makes sense. Thank you.
So if you don't fund it a year, it would terminate.
You can terminate, yeah. And obviously terminate for breach and other reasons.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Procedurally, again, I just want to clarify, well, first of all, yes, thank you for getting here. Thank you for having this pause. We've had a pause now for at least a couple of months. As our mayor alluded to, this has been going, we've had services and contracts with these people for many, many years. So it's a reset. Ken, are we going to iteratively, will this go back? So this is as an action item, it's not a discussion. So will there be, you're saying it'll be signed as is. So if we have feedback from this, it's a living, breathing, we can propose changes to the MSA moving forward. Is that a?
Oh,
This will be the
the
MSA.
MSA, it's like a contract. I mean, no, I mean, down the road if something raises, but not like tomorrow. Not like tomorrow. This is a, that we've, anyway.
And theoretically, Joe, every time you look at your budget, if you
Right.
don't fund it, there's no deal.
Right.
There's time, there are ways to get back in a discussion on the MSA in the future.
Okay. Aside from the actual vendor technology conversation we're having, as the mayor alluded to, I've had discussion with the city manager as well, that we implement an independent cybersecurity and IT audit on all of our systems, everything that we own, that we subscribe to, et cetera. So above and beyond the specific vendor, at least on an annual basis, we put out for procurement an independent cybersecurity IT audit on all of that, includes vulnerabilities and so on, for cybersecurity controls, and provides findings for immediate remediation. We're using a lot of different systems, whether it's in-house or it's in the cloud or not. Second. And then the second one, as the mayor and we talked about, was policies, that we do also this broader governance policies, procedures audit as well. So if you look at all of the different departments we have, from procurement to community development to finance, we have a lot of different procedures sitting around, and policies. Some of them have been voted on by council, and that have been for public record. Others are done by staff or city staff leadership. So the second proposal I have is that we also do a third-party audit on our governance policies and procedures audit, regardless of whether it's been approved by council or not, and then come back with recommendations looking at, best practices, what do they do in the private sector as well as public sector, with actionable lists. So those would be two things I would be asking to do above and beyond the MSA.
All right. Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Moved by John,
Second.
second by Councilman Lautenbacher. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, I call the question on the Flock Master Service Agreement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Chief Carlson, I believe you're up.
And on the next two, while the chief's going to the podium, I'd like the motion to read just like it is on the agenda, whether it's denial or approval, so it's tied to the MSA as we've discussed.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the past several months, we have been testing using the Flock OS 911 system with our real-time crime center. It has proven to be very effective, which means if we have somebody that calls in another language, it'll translate it for us. And we can also hear it real time as it's being dispatched into the Chatcom 911 center. So if it is something critical, the staff that is operating the real-time crime center can go ahead and dispatch us early so we can get to the scene quicker. So I'm asking you to approve the contract for the Flock OS 911 for $15,000.
Go ahead. Does anybody have questions?
Move to approve with the Flock OS 911 contract subject to approval and full execution of the Flock Master Service Agreement.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Harris, second by Councilman Hennigan. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that carries unanimously. Sharon. Chief, go ahead.
The next one is in reference to our drone first responder program. We have partnered with the Perimeter Community Improvement District regarding the area here in the perimeter. So we have shot detection. We have cameras and license plate readers that they are funding. So this is a request, excuse me, to approve that agreement as well as adding another drone to cover the other side of the city.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, this is an action item.
I'd like to move to approve the Flock Drone First Responder Expansion Agreement and renewal of PCID's Technology Partnership Commitment, subject to approval and the full execution of the Flock Master Services Agreement.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hennigan, second by Councilman Seconder. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
It doesn't seem like it, because they spoke to you for hours. On a policy, you just approved it again.
All right, next.
Yes.
Sharon, I believe you have to read this one.
Yes, the next item on the agenda is the first read of proposed charter amendment to Article 4, Section 4.01, Article 4, Section 4.02C, and Article 4, Section 4.03 related to municipal court.
Madam Mayor, council members, I'm gonna, this sort of brief introduction is also going to be applicable to 14, 15, and 16. So in the charter, under section 103, powers and construction, it says, this city shall have all powers possible for a city to have under the present or future constitution and laws of this state as fully and completely as though they were specifically enumerated in this act. And it goes on, but my point is the Constitution and state law is embedded in the charter. It's not just the way the charter is written. The charter language specifically incorporates it as if it's written. So first you go by the Constitution. The Constitution has home rule under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 2. That's the home rule provision granting y'all authority to do certain things, and I'll go through that shortly. Special districts are in the Constitution as well. Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 6 are special districts, all of which you can do right now, whether you change this or not. The purpose behind cleaning up the charter is there are provisions in this charter that are nonsensical, that conflict with the Constitution, that conflict with state law. And as part of the Charter Review Commission that was in the original charter, they've made certain recommendation. Councilman Lautenbacher has taken it up to check to see what needed to be cleaned up. Legal was making these recommendations to you. We're not trying to hide the ball. General law under OCGA 3635-3 says municipal charters may be amended by ordinance duly adopted at 2 regular consecutive meetings of the Municipal Government Authority, and it talks about the procedure. These charter amendments have been advertised as required by law. They've been on file with Superior Court Clerk, and they've been on file here. So what we're doing is what the law provides. The first one that we're doing is the proposed charter amendment seeks to amend Article 4, Section 4.01 by designating the title number and confirming the powers and duties of municipal judges. Article 4, Section 4.02C to create term limits, and Article 4, Section 4.03 by adding the word chief to in front of judge. The provision for the term, the main provision that was added under the creation of the municipal court, said court shall be presided over by a chief municipal judge duly appointed by the mayor and confirmed by council, and such number of associate municipal judges as duly appointed by the mayor and confirmed by council. Associate judges shall have the same power and duties while presiding as the chief judge. 4.02, all judges shall serve for a term of 4 years, but in no event more than 2 consecutive or non-consecutive terms. The term limits herein apply prospectively to all appointments or reappointments made on or after May 1, 2026. If we follow the advertising schedule, and if this is adopted after the second read, it would be a prospective statute. You can't apply them retroactively. So it'd be prospectively going forward beginning May 1. And in convening, we added the word chief judge. The municipal court shall be convened at such times as designated by ordinance or such times as deemed necessary by the chief judge to keep current the dockets thereof. So that's number 13. Are there any questions on 13?
John, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Ken, for the overview. The only question I had, I was trying to research myself in the sense of, you said it's an ordinance. Is there any public hearings that are needed to be done for these? I did not see anything, but based on our own rules of ordinance changes, is there anything for public hearings that are required?
Now, this is a charter change, and it's consistent with how y'all have changed the charter previously, because we went back and looked. There's nothing that requires necessarily adoption by public hearing, although you got people speak at the beginning and the end. It's advertised for 3 weeks.
Right.
It's on file, but that's based on my conversation.
No, I appreciate that. I just know we do a lot of other things at a lot lower level that have public hearings. It just seems to be, and if this was an ordinance change, I didn't know if we required we required hearings. Just wanted to verify.
The Zoning Procedures Act requires public hearings. That's why you do them for zonings. Any kind of change in zoning or special use permits, the Zoning Procedure Act requires those to be by public hearing.
I guess I would just want to, I'm not disagreeing with you, and we have another meeting. If hearings are required, I would suggest that we have them just to dot our i's and cross the t's. I'm not sure. I just figured I would ask the question because I'm not seeing them. I just figured I would ask.
And I didn't see anywhere that it had to be
right
that way. That's why I asked.
I just asked the question.
Right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody, are we doing these one by one, I guess? Yes, okay, so.
It just reads, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The next item, excuse me. The next item is a proposed amendment to Article 2, Section 2.09A of the Charter of the City to change the date of the first meeting in January after a municipal election to the first Monday, excluding legal holidays.
Okay, anybody have questions on this one?
Mayor, let me
Yes.
just make.
Oh,
sure-
right, you're supposed to talk, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the full read gets correct. So because Sharon also has the summary, I want to make sure the actual. The proposed charter amendment seeks to amend Article 2, Section 209A by changing the date the first meeting in January after a municipal election to the first Monday, excluding legal holidays, to read this way. This is only the part of subsection A that's changed. The city council shall meet on the first Monday, excluding legal holidays, in January, immediately following each regular municipal election. And it goes on. The reason why it's y'all's charter, when you were having a meeting, sometimes fell on the holiday, and we were trying to get past that. The rest of A says the meeting shall be called to order by the mayor-elect, and the oath of office shall be administered to the newly elected mayor and council members collectively by a judicial officer authorized to administer the oath. The oath shall, to the extent that it comports with federal and state laws, be as follows, and it's the same oath.
Thank you. This is just really a cleanup item that will fix a lot of the confusion that happens every election, January after election year. All right, any questions on that? On to the next one. Sharon, please.
Okay. This is a proposed charter amendment to Article 1, Section 1.03B, paren 36 and 37, paren A, related to special districts, bonds, and intergovernmental contracts.
Yes, Mayor, I'm gonna.
Okay, go ahead.
So the specific change under the proposed charter amendment seeks to amend Article 1, Section 1.03B, 36, 37A, and 43 as follows. In Section 36, by adding the words except as provided in section 1.03B43. In subsection 37A by adding the following sentence, this subsection shall not apply to section 1.03B43, nor shall same apply to general obligation bonds or intergovernmental contracts backing revenue bonds issued pursuant to law. And in section 43 by deleting the last sentence of section 43 that was brought up by Councilman Lambert during the February 23rd meeting, I believe. So that sentence has been deleted. So I do want to spend a minute on this. Right now, you don't change the charter, you can enact special districts, period. Why? Because the Constitution gives you the power. The Constitution trumps the charter, but the Constitution's also in the charter. When I read you the first section 1.02, whatever it was earlier to begin this conversation, there's a legal procedure for how you do that, and we're just cleaning this up. There's also, well, I think I hit that. Let's see. General obligation bonds have to be voted on by public anyway. That's why I said pursuant to public law, you can't just issue general obligation debt. You have to have a referendum to do it. So we're not avoiding a referendum on general obligation bonds. We're just cleaning it up. And remember, in the enunciated paragraphs of 1.03, there's like 43 different paragraphs that says what all your powers are. And one of them says you have all powers anybody else has, and this is to be read very liberally in these powers. This is just cleaning that up. But remember, for general obligation debt, you still have to have a referendum. With respect to intergovernmental contracts, by law, you can enter an intergovernmental contract with another governmental entity already. The reason why that's in there is because you are authorized to do that as a matter of law, and other governments are as well. So we're just cleaning up. The last thing I'll mention was that when the city was first created, we don't have a fire department, but we've eliminated the last sentence of section 43 in case one day y'all have a fire department. If you will remember the enunciated powers of a city, one of them, the county cannot provide fire services to a city unless the city contracts with the county to provide it. So we eliminated a paragraph from a city that was created a long time ago when there was no thought of fire. And I'm not saying there's a thought now, but it just opened up tool books for later by eliminating the last sentence dealing with fire. If you ever decide we want to fund fire differently. Right now, by the way, so everybody will relax, everything is governed by service delivery strategy, and y'all contract with DeKalb County for that. Mayor, that's all on that one.
Okay. I want to, go ahead, John.
I just wanted to say that I understand that we are legally able to make these changes. I'm not disagreeing with that. I guess I'm just disappointed in the spirit of the changes in the sense of the special districts, especially in the changing of the possible millage rate. When the city was founded, there was a ceiling. We are now at that ceiling. If we need to go above that ceiling, the hope is that we would go to the citizens. If we ever need to do a special district, especially as those districts might already be covered by the taxes being provided. I personally am against this change. I understand we're legally able to do it. I'm just, I'm disappointed that we're giving the opportunity to do it. I don't know. It's my own personal flavor on it. I wish we weren't going there today, but I understand that we are. So,
John, can I address one thing? I probably should have. So in the 103 powers and construction, the reason for the change where it is because it conflicts with section 43, which reads this way: special districts to exercise all authority provided by Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 6 of the Constitution of Georgia to create special districts for the provisions of local government services within such districts and to collect fees, assessment, taxes within such districts to pay wholly or partially the cost of providing such services therein. In part, it makes no sense to have the subsection where I just put it up. Subsection 37A in spirit, it deviates from section 43, but under rules of construction, we're supposed to read this in a light most favorable to y'all. So I don't really think we're violating that spirit. I think whoever wrote this did their very best at the time. We've learned a lot through case law. I'd like to think we've learned a lot through 36 years of representing folks and governments, that this change is really mopping it up. But I hear what you're saying. I understand completely.
Well, thank you, Ken. Again, I was just thinking if we have a need for public safety improvements that are above the tax rate, we should go to the citizens and ask for it versus doing a special district to raise the taxes. Just my personal opinion. Council has the right to make this change, agree to it, not agree to it, whatever we decide when we vote, but I'm just giving you my opinion. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Respectfully, I understand. And you realize, John, I was asked about this. Okay.
Kind of a point of clarification, Councilman Hannigan, we already have two special districts, stormwater special district and streetlight special district that you voted for and supported. So
And
I
neither
hear,
one of those are in the tax rate, though. They're outside the tax rate.
but they are charged for those special districts and it was already created and you voted for them. So, okay.
And just as a point of clarification, a special tax district, which we're not even saying we're going to create, is outside it's the same as a streetlight district. So it's a different line. So the streetlight district, and you know, as well as the rest of us do, the streetlights happen to be really tricky if there's in areas where there's nobody to pay for them and residents ask for them. And so it is a tricky problem to solve. I will say that I don't know, 12:30 on sine die in the morning when they should have been finished, went to bed thinking they were finished, the legislature passed a bill that essentially potentially will eliminate property taxes for homestead properties in the state. That's a goal. It's not exactly the way it started. It evolved into something very different, and we'll see if there's a special session if they bring it back. Also, there's some issue with the Department of Revenue when it goes into effect, but and so a lot of this may become moot anyway.
And Mayor, let me add one more thing for purposes of citizens. To impose a fee for special tax districts, they have to be in place by December 31 of the prior year. So you cannot impose another special tax district this year because it would not be in place before January 1 of this year. So the earliest you could ever impose a new fee would be next year. By cleaning this up, you're not creating a special tax district. We're cleaning up, but you would have to go through the process that's legally prescribed for creating a special tax district and have it on the books before December 31 of this year to even impose anything next year.
Any other questions, Joe?
Yeah, I really just circling back of our retreat from 2025 of May, we talked about some areas in the city that don't have streetlights. And we talked about public safety and people walking and being able to see people and having better visibility. And right now we only have, correct me, I believe Michael Smith runs it, but we have a couple of different streetlights where we reimburse that's either in a commercial district and that commercial property pays into that, or it's not my neighborhood, but I believe it's in some neighborhoods where they have streetlights in that neighborhood and then they get a actual fee sent in their property tax. So we have the other places that aren't in either of those two categories, right? It's along Ashford Center Parkway, Dunwoody Club Drive, certain areas, they're not abutting a residential or a commercial. So how can we fix that? And one idea was perhaps we entertain a community conversation of having a citywide streetlight district. And we'd have conversations and open meetings and have whatever we'd have to do there to talk about if you want to have that holistically, if you look at safety and lighting throughout the city. So that was the intent of why we're doing this administrative change, so that, that was what we asked about. That was one of the takeaways from our 2025 retreat. Thanks.
All right. One more, Sharon, I think, unless somebody else had something to say.
The final proposed charter amendment is charter amendment to Article 5, Section 5.03A and Section 5.03 4.04B, amend budget submission and adoption dates.
And Mayor, on this one, the proposed charter amendment seeks to amend 5.03A and 5.04B in order to change the dates required under the charter for the city manager to submit for the ensuing fiscal year proposed budget by the first day of the 10th month of the fiscal year currently ending, and to change the dates required by council to adopt a budget for the ensuing fiscal year by the first day of the 12th month of the fiscal year currently ending, to read on or before a date fixed by city council will not later than the first day of the 10th month of the fiscal year currently ending. The city manager shall, after input, review and comment by the mayor, submit to the city council proposed operating budget and capital budget for the ensuing fiscal year. The budget shall be accompanied by a message from the mayor and city manager containing a statement of general fiscal policies of the city, the important features of the budget, explanation of major changes recommended for the next fiscal year, a general summary of the budget, and such other comments and information as they may deem pertinent. The operating budget, capital budget, the budget message, and all supporting documents shall be filed in the office of the city manager and shall be open to public inspection. The 5.04B, the city council shall adopt a budget for the ensuing fiscal year no later than the first day of the 12th month of the fiscal year currently ending. If city council fails to adopt the budget by the prescribed deadline, the operating budget and capital budget proposed by the mayor and city manager shall be adopted without further action by the city council. And simply all we did was change the date structure.
And that was at the request of finance, right?
Correct.
Okay, any questions or comments on this one?
My comment is that Richard Plato did agree to this
He
change.
blessed it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes business now. Right, sorry. All right, item 5 of the consent agenda, y'all can read the 3/25/26 City Council 2026 Strategic Planning Retreat minutes. And I'm gonna turn this over to Tom so I can take.
Yeah, I have a conversation on this one. So there's a meeting minutes notes, and it addresses the what was discussed. And then I'm asking for where, let's have next steps, action items, a plan, deliverables, due dates, responsible person. So I don't know if Jay's in the room, he put it together. We have it's 138 page PDF in there. And in there, the very end, it's catalytical initiatives in there. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the major categories. I appreciate that down at the bottom of their page, but are we going to have next steps, that kind of stuff? Jay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Probably the best way to address this is from the retreat this year, instead of what we called a laundry list from the past couple, where we had 30 or 40 establish this, do this. This gave direction to staff more than anything else. It gave focus for things, which is and I had to scroll through it after I just downloaded it down here. The initiatives are all related to focus groups that we were talking about, like maintaining our neighborhood. Everything on here gives direction to staff on developing things throughout the rest of the year. We will be bringing things to you throughout the year, saying what it focuses on. So and I'll just get into this, can't brainstorm a specific item, but as items come up, we'll talk about how they related to the goals that were set during the retreat, if that works to the will of council.
I appreciate that. It's like anything when you plan, you execute, and then you analyze, right? So we've had a plan, now we get to execute, and then we analyze. So I'd like to have more clarity. I know last year we had a couple of, these are set on an agenda item, they're in a PowerPoint, and that's kind of hard to find or research.
Probably what will happen is I'm going to assume probably at the end of the second quarter and the end of the third quarter, we'll go through things that have happened during that time or initiatives that have started that related back.
Quarterly basis. Sure. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. I would, any other questions? I'll move to approve.
Second that.
Moved by Joe, second by Rob. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimous. Next up, we're on to discussion items. Item 17, Homecoming Park. Rachel.
There we go. How about now? Yeah, okay, thank you. Good evening. So this first one, we're very excited to bring this for you tonight. It's our next step in making Homecoming Park a reality. So the first memo I have tonight is for our design professional services. As you'll see on the memo, there were 6 firms that went after this work. You can see our scores that were compiled with the selection committee. Based on these scores and based on prior work with the city, we are recommending the design professionals contract award to L&D Blue Line Inc. The selection committee is very familiar with the work. They're actually working with us right now on the Brook Run Maintenance Shop. They've done numerous projects with us for the city. I know we'll be in good hands. And this contract will be allocated from General Capital Project 26B, which is the Homecoming Park project we identified last year during the budget. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Go ahead. Anybody questions? Sorry.
How can we get this done quicker? I did a little search, right? And the analogy is, let's say 3 or 4 years ago, I had an interior designer come up with a kitchen remodel plan, but I didn't have the money then. So now I have the money now. So I need new countertops and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm just gonna go find a general contractor and do it. So how can we think out of the box and do a simultaneous accelerated delivery plan where, it's just this CMR project, all this at-risk project manager thing. So can we just kind of accelerate this, finalize what's necessary, and just get new construction? What can we really do? Can we build while we design? Can we get this done?
Yes, so we're actually working on that construction manager at risk scope right now. So we can do this kind of in the background while we're working through the permitting phase and kind of the meat that takes so long. So we're already working on that. That'll probably hit the street probably in May. So you'll see that this summer. But that's kind of what we're kind of working in tandem behind the scenes to get things moving. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rachel, can you share with us the community involvement with the design of this playground?
Sure. So
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have a steering committee that we will onboard once the contract with design firm, of course, is finalized. We have a group of about 5 or 6 individuals in the community, plus staff, who have personal experience and personal attachment to how that all-inclusive playground will look. So we know that we're building the best playground we can for those families who need it. We were actually approached by the Spalding Garden Club a week or so ago, and they actually have verbally offered a financial commitment to the sensory garden. So we're seeing some great response from the community and just in ways people can help, which is just, it's very heartening to see.
It's exciting.
Yep.
And also not just how it looks, but how it functions, right?
Correct.
I know that's what you mean. I
Correct.
just want to
Yes, ma'am.
make sure that's out there.
Yep.
Okay, is this, go ahead, Stacy.
And I know I sent you the video, but I would just,
Yeah.
if you guys want to come down to the city of Tucker where I work, it is a great, fun playground. And it has some really cool, fun adaptive pieces to it. And I know I sat with many meetings with Dave McCauley during the JCC thing. I would point out to some of the staff people who are in this thing that I thought we got a new park, but apparently, where is it? This one, well, it just kind of made me laugh. So you guys can correct it the next time. Yeah, you go around. The Padea Python Park is not in Dunwoody. It's actually in Avondale. So you might want to correct that one. I was like, oh, we got a new park. No, it's a typo.
Oh, in the scope.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Rachel, for taking my email today for a neighbor that reached out to me regarding Homecoming Park. Thank you for, I believe, calling her. Is there any residents on the planning committee? I mean, the steering committee, is there any immediate neighbors that are involved, connected? I'm guessing it's more about noise and inappropriate aspects of the park versus trying to find the perfect fit for the citizens that'll be using that park. But I'm just wondering if there's any input from that perspective.
So I'm not sure the residents who have reached out to show interest in the steering committee, I'm not sure of their location and proximity to the park. There are a few folks that we've met with over the years who live right there on the boundary who we've already been talks with and said basically kind of a verbal, once we get moving, y'all will know. It's the Romeos. They've got a great resource there, Village Mill and all that. So definitely just being the best neighbors we can on kind of project updates and noise and things like that. Yes.
Exactly. I know we do our best. We're not going to put the volleyball right next to somebody's bedroom window. So I mean, I know that, but I just want to make sure that the citizens know that this is the time to be active in the planning aspect. So again, thank you for reaching out to the citizen that had concerns. So thank you.
Consent? Yeah, okay, consent. And I believe you're next.
Let me go ahead, Sharon. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is just discussion. Go ahead.
Okay. So the second one, we're working again with Comprehensive Program Services, or CPS, as you probably know them, to just kind of act as an extension of my staff, if you will, to just keep us guided through this project for Homecoming Park. They've done numerous projects with us. We're very comfortable with their work. Same thing, the funding for this service would be from that same general capital project, Homecoming Park. So we're just asking tonight for the $160,000 contract to be approved. And right now we are in phase 1, which is our pre-design. That's kind of that call out there on the memo.
I'm not a designer, so I need to understand the difference. So item number 18 is the project management services that is going to manage number 17?
Yes.
Okay.
But Eric, does this contract go into construction?
Yeah, so this will see through the entire project.
Right, so it's not just for, design.
That's right. And this is a similar model we follow on,
Right.
follow on other projects.
Right, I just, the way stays, anyway. Yeah, okay.
So 18 is for the project management for design, construction, and the ribbon cutting in a year.
Yes.
Okay. Or 9 months.
Just what we.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. I'm not going to comment on that. And this is exactly what we did with the memorial. Same thing. They were with me tandem throughout the entire process.
So they're managing the design and construction company. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any consent? Consent, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Mr. Vanicki.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What you're seeing before you tonight is a first discussion item on putting solar on 2 of the buildings of city property. What I'd like to do first off, before I even get started with this, is give thanks to Ann Hicks, who was here earlier on the Sustainability Committee, and Nathan Sparks, who used to be on there. They assisted us with developing the RFP and were also on the review process, and we could not have done this without their help. I want to thank them publicly and make sure that they're acknowledged for it. That being said, we'll start off with just a brief presentation. And also the recommended vendor's CEO, Seth Gunning, is here today. Even though I've learned a lot about solar throughout this, other than it's shiny, it gets the sun, it makes the other lights go on, I'm not good at explaining that part. So technical questions will go to him. First off, just so you know, this RFP that was put out is for solar on top of 2 different buildings. One is the Dunwoody Cultural Arts Center, where Spruill is. The other is the North Shallowford Annex. We looked at ones that we knew we could manage as a first step. The contract is set up so that if approved, it could be expanded to other buildings as we get it underway and we get more accustomed to it. Now, the next part I need to explain a little bit, and that this is different from a normal procurement process. We're not just buying the solar cells, putting them on top. We're going through what's called a SEPA, a Solar Energy Procurement Agreement. And in this case, what happens is the firm that is selected will install solar on top of the buildings at their cost. The contract will then require the city to buy the solar generated from them at a given rate, and we'll get into that in a little bit later, and it's going to be lower than what we would be paying normally through our rates through Georgia Power. Now, that in the way these are designed, neither one of the buildings is going to generate 100% of the use of it. It's going to generate part of it. So we'll still have a Georgia Power bill for each building, but we'll also have for the selected vendor a bill from them. That will produce overall savings over the long run. 3 firms bid on this. After the scoring and interview process, it was narrowed through 2, and we had to go through a financial analysis to pick one of the 2, and it was SunPath Solar was the firm that was recommended to council for this night. to look at the estimated savings, and this is one where unfortunately my inner economist always cringes at 20 and 25-year forecast, because after about year 10, you're guessing. So we started focusing on first year. So just looking at, for those two buildings, over the past year's worth of bills, we'll probably save about 11,000. Now, again, the annex is a fairly small building. The art center is a little bit bigger. A lot of the art center roof is not usable because it's slanted. So we're still saving some. Now, here's the part about what the council will be approving if this is approved by council. What you're approving is a rate agreement. So the rate agreement would be with the vendor for 9.94 cents per kilowatt hour. I can never say that correctly. And that rate will escalate 2.69% annually throughout the life of the contract. Now, we have already looked over the draft contract, and we will have to do some nuancing with it to make sure that it does not bind future councils, but that can be done through this. Also, just as some other things along with this, the firms has agreed that it'll also look over our electric rates for everything else we're paying throughout the city. Part of the neat thing about this is we see some rates and there's a code GPLC 102. And we're finding out that's probably not the rate that should be charged to some of our buildings or the like. So they're going to work with us on a rate review of all of them. All of the proposals included that from every vendor that was in there. And the art center location is also going to have a public education component, which was part of the RFP. And with that, Seth Gunning is here to help answer any technical questions or any other questions that council has.
Rob?
I'm just going to simplify SEPA, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, I guess. But what this lets us do is a private vendor is going to put solar for us at no cost to the city on our buildings, and then sell us power at a rate less than we're paying now. So it's basically, aside from the staff time to put together all the contracting for this, it gives us a system that will be maintained by a private vendor that generates energy savings for us. So it's probably the cheapest way to get solar from the city standpoint and get a benefit, and requires really no further action from us aside from a little bit of oversight of the vendor on an ongoing basis.
The council member is not wrong.
Catherine?
When I got solar on my house, I had to get approval from Georgia Power, and then I wanted more solar. And the trade-off was that Georgia Power said I couldn't sell it back. How much solar are you putting on there? Is it to the sellback stage?
We will not be selling any back. We're probably going to generate 25 to 35% of what each building would consume.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jay. This has been a collaborative effort, to say the least. And I want to thank Rob Price on the sustainability liaison for committee, Ann Hicks, Nathan Sparks. Those folks really helped step up. I have other folks. I've self-educated myself about a year ago. I only know 2% of it as well. So it's very complicated. But I really appreciate everybody coming together and getting us to this point. I think it's a great first step of seeing this on a couple of places, and let's see how it goes. And potentially we can look at other city properties maybe, or even look at where else we could use it. If it's covered parking, could we look at the feasibility at City Hall one day potentially, or just other places? But again, I thank you very much, and I'm really proud that we've got this here. Thank you.
So I have a question about the Cultural Arts Center, which is the library, which seems to me has a really flat roof. Did we ever replace it?
I am unsure of that's theirs, right? Yeah,
It's not theirs. It's just to correct you. The library has, oh, you mean theirs is the park? Or the library is the lease, right? They're a tenant.
Let me get
Okay.
Rachel to clarify
Okay.
that, because she's better at it than I.
Okay, because I'm not sure we ever fixed that roof.
That's correct. So everything above.
Wait, sorry, go ahead.
Once you step foot either internal or external library, that is all maintained by the county still.
And it's an old roof, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's our building. I've said this before. It was ridiculous that we didn't roof it when we fixed the Cultural Arts Center, Eric. It's wrong. The damage first of all, it's mostly our residents that use the library. It's a really needed amenity. any damage, if they were to abandon it tomorrow, any damage would be our responsibility if we inherited the building and wanted to use it. It feels like, I don't know exactly where they're going to want to put the solar panels, but it might be on that very flat roof, which has lots of surface. That should be an option, especially if it allows even like more solar, like so that the bills go down less. And so if what holds us back is the condition of the roof, I'd like you to bring that to us.
Let me say, and I'm going to say this off the cuff here.
Right.
The way the RFP was structured, I would have to bid it out again. Because we
The
did not,
solar?
yeah, we did not include the library portion of the roof.
Okay, so maybe that'll be phase two,
It-
because we would need to fix the roof before they could put solar on it.
It is.
I don't
it is-
understand it either,
It
but
is, the contract is structured so that additional buildings can be added at later dates. But yes, currently we could not put it on there.
no, that doesn't make sense. So the contract is structured so that additional buildings can be added.
I'd have to come to council for approval, but if we add
Okay.
another building, if we wanted to put it on top.
We could probably do that, but we can't do it, I suspect, until we fix the roof. And then if we wait for the county to fix the roof, it'll be forever. So let's just figure out what's going on there.
Would the-
Catherine?
Would the county fix our roof? Is that what you're saying?
So technically, their lease includes an obligation to maintain the building. So technically, the reason we didn't roof it when we roofed the rest of the building was because it was their responsibility. I thought it was kind of short-sighted then. I think it's kind of short-sighted now.
That'd be odd in a lease agreement that.
It was an odd acquiring of the building, having been on the other side of it.
All right, check.
Let's just, Eric and Jay, take a look at that, please, and
Yeah.
figure it out. Because we don't need to, eventually they may want to move the library. I hope not, but we need a building that's functional. Thank you. Consent. Everybody okay with this for consent?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, Michelle, fun times. Okay. Get,
Oh, there. Hello. There we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm here to discuss an agreement with between the city and Perimeter CID for bridge enhancements for the I-25 East Express lanes. So this is strictly an agreement with PCID so that then the city will enter into agreement with GDOT. And so this is for the bridge aesthetics at Ashford Dunwoody, and then also at Perimeter Center Parkway. How it would be structured would be that the PCID would essentially give us the money 30 days prior to the financial closing for the express lanes. And then at that point, we would pay GDOT that money. So it's essentially kind of like a pass through.
okay, do we know what their design looks like?
We do have some renderings. I don't have them with me, but that's something that we can bring back when we.
Yeah,
come
it
back
needs to
from
be in the
Friday.
packet, I think, just because maybe we're curious. And
They have been working with.
it
GDOT.
wasn't. Oh,
No.
I might, never mind. Sorry. Somehow I missed it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it's in the-
sorry.
Yes, it might be in the
Okay.
next item. I just saw our aesthetics in there. I did not see.
Okay.
the perimeter aesthetics. So this, but Kimberly Horn also did our aesthetics, also worked on the perimeter aesthetics for the bridges. So I'm sure they're very similar. GDOT had the similar requirements and that they put on us for our Shanley Dunwoody Bridge.
So I got a letter the other day. I think it was a letter, maybe an email, but a letter that they're getting ready to start talking about redoing the Ashford Dunwoody Bridge, maybe the diverging diamond or something.
Yes.
So how does that play? Do we just not know? And also, if they're redoing the bridge, why is anybody paying for the bridge? I mean, again,
So
I'd
it's
say
aesthetics for the bridge, so
Right.
they'll be redoing it and kind of as part of the top end also. So they
Right.
included all of that together. And so it's the aesthetic pieces that like we're doing on the Chambly Dunwoody Bridge.
right, okay. Anybody else? Still didn't, oh, here's the exhibits. You have a question, John? Anybody else? Okay, all right. Next item is, I guess, is everybody okay with consent for 20? Yeah, 20, you're okay with that. All right, 21, agreement. Go ahead.
Yes, so this is the agreement with GDOT for it's a number of items. It is for the 285 East Express Lane enhancements. So this would be the bridge aesthetics for the three bridges. So it's Chamblee Dunwoody, Ashford Dunwoody, and the Perimeter Center Parkway. So the Chamblee Dunwoody would be a city funded effort, and then the other two would be PCID. There are operational improvements at the Ashford Dunwoody interchange. That's part of the improvements, and there's the shared use path at the bridges for Chamblee Dunwoody, Ashford Dunwoody, and also at North Shaliford and North Peachtree Road underpass. Additionally, there are shared use paths along the Cotillion Drive between Chamblee Dunwoody Road and North Peachtree. And this also does include the top end trail from Georgetown Court to Wisconsin Drive. So all of the operational improvements and the shared use paths and the trails, there are no costs to the city or the PCID. Those are just getting absorbed into the top end, the 285 Express Lanes project, where there is a funding commitment. Again, is at Chamblee Dunwoody Road Bridge Aesthetics. And that would be for 1.16 million for the city. And then the PCID is funding the other two bridges at 3.43 million. So this is an agreement to approve that funding.
Okay, any questions? Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm taking a look at the various documents and I don't really have any big issues to start with until I start looking at the Jacobs and more deep into the document. Can you tell me, as far as the layout, where are the entrance and exit ramps are for the express lanes?
Right, that's a really hard question.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't have a graphic, unfortunately.
I'm looking at all the graphics deep in the document. It shows all the layouts of where everything is, and I'm trying to understand it.
Don't try too hard.
It shows the entrance ramp, it shows ramps, it shows various things, but I'm trying to understand the graphics in front of me to see where the entrance and exit ramps are.
Okay, so what we can do is when we come back, we can produce a graphic that shows like a highlighted areas where the entrance and exits are that we can provide as part of the packet.
Those
Okay.
are firm?
They're not firm. So
They're not firm,
No,
but
they're-
it's part of
right.
the current plan, and that does all change as I mean, they're still picking a developer, and that developer has the right to make changes. So this is just the information we have today.
Well, one of the things that I saw in the document was very concerning to me. If you take a look at page 91 of 134 page of that document, right towards the back, it shows Cotillion Drive at the top of the document. If you could bring that to the screen.
I would need to go to the packet.
Can someone in IT come assist, please? Or Jay, either way. Here comes Jay. Well,
It's page 91 of 134.
Yeah, I'm just pulling the packet up.
It says Cotillion Drive at the top.
which, we're on 21, is that the one you're?
The blue dot, it's a blue piece of paper. Cotillion Drive. The reason I'm concerned is that the city of Chamblee has on Cotillion Drive.
Is it on the drafts, exhibits? I just want to make sure I'm pulling up the
Wait,
right
mine
document.
is, okay.
Here's what I'm concerned about. North Peachtree Road interchange. It is the city's understanding that the intersection site distance will not allow for return access lane between Savoy Drive and Cotillion Drive, but that the phase developer will make intersection improvements to mitigate one-way traffic. We are one-waying, from everything I've seen and heard, that we are going to one-way both Savoy and Cotillion. Now you're gonna have, in the city of Chamblee, just inside 285, it's all zoned for high office. I'm not sure that will ever happen, but it is zoned for thousands of office spaces and apartments and everything
High
else.
density.
High density on the inside of 285. And you're gonna one-way Cotillion and Savoy, but you're not, based on this document right here, I'm learning from GDOT that they're not gonna have a return lane that swings back around. But we are putting a 12-foot path on North Peachtree, but so we're accessing paths, but we're not accessing a return for the high density and all the vehicles that are going to be using Cotillion and Savoy. And that is deeply disappointing based on all the conversations that we've had with GDOT regarding this project. One-waying both of those streets without allowing access to swing around is very detrimental to our community. And I don't understand how that is moving forward in the conversations that are, happening now.
So I know that that was requested, and we had discussions, and like you said, the statement that we got back was that, it was not feasible due to the site distance. And so we would have to, just go back to GDOT and ask that same question, but I think we'll get the same answer. I have not seen, the site distance documents myself, but,
I'm told there's going to be entrance and exit ramps somewhere in that area
Yeah, I don't
coming
think that's
off
gonna
the
happen.
highway.
Right.
And then you have high density inside 285. You have businesses on both sides that people are going to want to access, and having no automatic lane that would allow quick access to get from one side of the highway to the other is very detrimental to our community. I need this fixed. I am not voting for this until this needs to be discussed. I am upset at this. I think it's really needed.
So I think the challenge we face, because I wanted to invite somebody from GDOT to come talk to us, because I realized I haven't had an update in a long time, and they aren't really talking about it until they pick a developer sometime this year.
yes, it will
And-
be at the end of this year.
And so they also aren't making changes. So like from when we looked at the bus rapid transit, the stop in between Dorville and Dunwoody, which is perimeter. I mean, those two stops was to be in the area you're talking about. But my sense from the data from the bus rapid transit is that stop isn't going to happen anymore.
Okay.
But we don't know for sure. And then worse than anything is that, well, from the worse, more complicating is that the developer is allowed to make changes. So they can come in, I mean, GDOT can say yes or no, but they can come in and say, so like on the 400 section, I think they made like 20 changes or something. I mean, like they took entrance, that's how we're going to get Peachtree Industrial, is we're going to get the developer to put it.
Well, again, I'd love to
Right.
be an entrance or an exit at Peachtree Industrial too. We haven't
Right, no,
seen that
that's,
either.
I
That
think we're
was-
going to get that through the developer. Maybe, possibly. I think we've pushed really hard, and I think that the numbers show that it would work. I think the one in the middle won't. I think the numbers don't show it. Chamblee can wish all they want, but it hasn't happened. And that stop was for bus rapid transit. I mean, that was why they were doing it. So
I guess all I see is that we're discussing what our fences are going to look like.
Right.
Right now, I don't care what the fence looks like. I want to make sure that our community can flow through these transportation improvements and not be hindered.
Go ahead.
I have a question though. The two-way traffic along North Peachtree is going to remain, correct? That's the way it looks like. So there'll be a lane north and south under 285
Yes.
at North Peachtree. So would the Savoy and Cotillion not be able to just utilize those existing lanes?
As far as I'm concerned, with the amount of traffic of it being one way, you need a lane that goes back. We're putting that lane on Chamblee Dunwoody.
Right, right.
And we should at least have one at North Peachtree, whether we have one or not at Savoy, at the Shallowford. I'd love to have one there too, but that being said, not having one at North Peachtree will bottleneck that area.
I don't disagree with that, yeah.
And right now, we have a ASHTO level path on North Peachtree, but not a return ramp. If that's the case, I would request that we have a path at Shallowford, but not at North Peachtree, and have the access for the vehicles to swing back around.
So when
That's I'm not trying to make easy solutions. I'm just
No.
bringing everything to the table that I'm reading.
so when the last mayor, Chambly, and I were working on this, pedestrian access under North Peachtree was a concern, but I don't think that it was one way back then. I'm not sure. I mean, that was a lot of years ago, but maybe it was. It's all kind of been going on forever and will continue to go on forever. But I think that maybe we have a conversation with GDOT, see if they'll have a conversation about if the path wasn't there, could they do the circular lane like they're doing on Chambly Dunwoody?
We can make the ask and see if
Because
it makes any changes.
The other thing though is that whether North Shallowford State, whether there's still an underpass at North Shallowford, it's kind of also up in the air. It's really frustrating. But there's a possibility they shut off the underpass at North Peachtree too. I mean, at North Shallowford, but that's only if there's a stop. It's only if there's an exit and an egress ramp, and I'm not sure there really is going to be one there.
I mean, I'm not sure either.
Right. It's also.
But I will say that even if the shared use path wasn't there, because the closeness that they have it to like pushed up against the columns,
Mhm.
I don't know if that's not going to be enough space and offset to allow for vehicle traffic to go through there either.
Okay, could you just confirm that?
But confirm that.
Now,
Yeah.
the question is, do we need to sign this at all?
Do we need the what?
Do we need to authorize this agreement being signed? When
Yes,
it's
I think,
many years away?
I know, we've talked about that.
Many,
That's the problem.
Many years.
Because they're putting it together for the developer, so I think we do have to authorize it. The question is could you just get the information on this one piece? I
Yes.
think the rest of it is
Yes, we'll have to
probably
come.
okay.
And so we
I mean,
can
there's-
get that information and see. But also just to make sure we are changing, like the agreement will be that we will not provide any financial, we have a financial commitment, but that won't be until the financial closing when we will see the documents at that point. And we'll see what the
Go ahead,
plan,
Joe.
and the design is at that point.
Right. It's also hypothetical. Go ahead, Joe.
Michelle, everything we've seen in the past, we've shown these concepts of the Chambly Dunwoody Bridge. And that's the only pretty much in my recollection, this has been going on for probably what, 3 years? Who knows? We've seen a lot of iterations of that, and maybe people even on this current council might have been before them for the Chambly Dunwoody Bridge enhancement. So the scope of the conversation was purely on the top of 280. In my recollection, we were focusing on the actual bridge.
Mm-hmm.
In today's packet with 117 page PDF or whatever, it's blowing that scope way beyond a bridge aesthetics and what the top of the bridge looks like. So how did we get from talking about what the bridge looks like to this 117 page with a whole bunch of other stuff in it?
We've talked about some of this in isolation, and then some of the trail stuff is related to what the top end mayors worked on a couple of years ago, which is, all this connectivity through the region. But I know we've talked about the parcel from Chambly Dunwoody, through to Perimeter. But I think it's been a really long time since we talked about some of this other. And when we talked about North Peachtree last, it might have been not before you were on council, but it's been a long time.
Okay.
And
Well,
so,
if we're focusing on, I know we get the money of the $1.1 million for the bridge enhancements and get that kind of taken care of. And then we have a lot of other issues.
Yeah, let me speak to that because if you look in the agreement, a lot of the things you're talking about are markups to the agreement. I put them in there because originally the agreement was just the bridge enhancements and the path along from Perimeter to Georgetown. I added the other things in there, and GDOT still has to review this and okay it. But my intention there was to document conversations and commitments that have been made by GDOT over the years to make sure if we can get them in this agreement, then they're in writing and that they're going to happen. So, and they have been presented to council before because I know y'all submitted letters to the commissioner And then their response was, we will do these things. And I thought it would be a good idea to put it in this document so that everybody agrees this is what even though some of it's shown in the drawings now, it's like, this is the agreement we made that these things would happen. And I also added the return access comment in there because I knew it was something that the council had brought up in the past. And I just wanted everybody to be aware that in the last correspondence we got from Commissioner McMurray, that when we asked for that, that's when they said, we don't think it's feasible, but we will look at improvements to the intersection.
Thank you, Michael. Just last, I've said this before when we first heard about the express lanes. I think it's going to be very devastating to our city and our community just to have them in general. If you go up Georgia 400 and you see all the trees decimated, it just enhances people just to have single occupancy cars and keep traffic, which never gets solved by adding one more lane. And I have gone on record though that says, one lane roads are not safe. And the one weighing the Cotillion and Savoy, instead of keeping them two-way. And if they were to keep them two-way, we may have solved some other problems here. And maybe they could relook at that design. Instead of having the one-way on Cotillion and the one-way on Savoy, could they keep the two-way flow, have that conversation?
Yeah, that's come up in the past, and it all depends on whether they have managed lanes at North Salford or not. If they have the managed lane access at North Salford, then those have to be one way because those are basically the on an entrance and exit ramps. If they don't end up with access at North Salford, then maybe they don't need to change.
And at your technical meeting, because I know are you still having technical meetings?
Occasionally, yes.
Occasionally. So is Chamblee there advocating for Shallowford? Maybe you're not supposed to say what happens in the meetings, but I'm just curious because the top end mayors have not met in a really long time. And the stuff at Chamblee was a chicken and an egg question. They believed that the bus rapid transit station would spur the dense development. But anyway, I don't know what's happening there.
We haven't had one
ahead.
recently with where Chamblee
Yeah,
weighed
okay.
in.
John?
Michael, as a reminder, we met with GDOT. We went down there. We talked to them a bunch of things. We presented them with specific questions and we got written answers.
Right.
On April 19th, 2022, we have a letter addressed to us from Russell McMurray stating that the current project, the city comment question, a return access lane from Savoy to Cotillion will be included at North Peachtree Road, ? The current project scope includes a return access lane at North Peachtree Road. So in 22, our discussions with them asked for it and they said, yes, it includes it at that point. What's changed and why not now?
Yeah, I think we have a letter in our files from
later.
Commissioner McMurray from maybe January of 24, somewhere around there. Or maybe it was last January, I don't remember, but where they came back, and I guess maybe they did more design or they moved it further along and they came back and said, we can't do one there because we had sent them a letter reiterating our request and they responded to that, said we can't do the access there because of sight distance and safety concerns.
Dig it out.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll just see this again in 2 weeks unless anybody else has questions. We won't put it on consent and maybe we can figure some of this out.
Yes, and possibly it will go to the meeting after that.
Okay, that's fine. I
Because
didn't
we're
mean 2
still-
weeks.
We're still going back and forth with GDOT and, but to an earlier comment, we do have to do something with this soon if we want it to get
Right.
included in the project.
That's fine. We'll figure it out. And also when you talk to them, if they want to give us any kind of update at a public meeting, since we're so heavily impacted by this project, we would appreciate it. I know they're kind of holding off, but
Yeah,
Okay.
we're being in the procurement phase.
When is the deadline for that? Do you remember? For some reason I had April in my head, but that doesn't sound right since it's April or the procurement.
I think they're planning to select a developer by the end of 26.
Okay, that makes more sense in April of 26. All right. I just want you to know that this project was supposed to be finished while I was still mayor. And it hasn't even started, and I have a year and however many months left, so that's kind of humorous. All right, Mr. Ayers.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yes,
Todd
okay.
Meadows.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're seeking authorization for funding for a small project on Ridgeview Road that will connect to about a 300-foot segment of sidewalk that's currently missing, and also widen the roadway to accommodate two-way traffic. We're utilizing our on-call small projects, construction projects contract with Autoco, and we're seeking funding to the amount of $190,000, which would cover their anticipated cost plus a 10% contingency. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Remind us, is this work being done in the city's right of way? Because you're expanding the road, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's so, okay. And this is something the neighbors ask for, or am I misremembering?
There's a neighborhood in the back
Yeah.
off of Manoa Court,
Mhm.
which has about 5 residences there, and there's a private drive at the end of the cul-de-sac
Mhm.
as well. And currently, I drove there today, and if a car is coming the opposite way, you kind of have to wait for each other to clear, or you might lose your
Right.
your
gotcha.
side view mirror.
Gotcha.
Pretty narrow.
I have talked to these neighbors and they would appreciate these improvements.
Okay,
I met with them in 2022 and they're looking forward to this.
right. Okay. All right, consent. Anybody, Tom, did you have a question?
Yeah, well, I was just, so I think I drove by you today. I saw
Okay,
the city
okay.
Dunwoody truck. I was checking it out in person, and yeah, that stretch of road is pretty rough. But I know there's basically 5 houses at the end of the street. And as everyone knows, I'm very much in favor of pedestrian access and stuff, but we have to build a retention wall and all that, and it's basically going along one side of property. Is there a significant cost, a portion of the cost adding that connection, or is it the street, or I guess what I'm looking at is the priority of the project versus other perhaps needs in the city. I'm not saying this isn't important, that those neighbors don't deserve a street
Right.
to drive on. I'm just curious because we have to, looking at it, we have to build a retention wall and all this stuff.
Sure.
Is that required for the road itself, or is that part of the pedestrian improvements there?
The retaining wall, or
Yeah.
It's just because of the grade that's on that shoulder where the residence is, where the road slopes up pretty, maybe 8 or 9 feet above the elevation of the roadway there, in order to accommodate the widening of the road itself.
So that would
which-
be necessary regardless of the sidewalk. So the sidewalk's not a major expense that we're putting in. We're just connecting the gap there, correct?
We're connecting the gap between as you're coming up from Alden Point, that area towards Manoa Court, and it kind of necks down to about, I think it's maybe 15 or 16 feet wide. We want to widen that road to a standard roadway width with curb and gutter, and then also have the sidewalk to connect the sidewalk in front of Alden Point to the sidewalk that's down at Manoa Court. And the only way to do that is to we can't. Well, we could have. I guess we could have approached the gentleman who has the fence there, but we try to accommodate everything within the public right of way without having to do any kind of slope easement or.
So there's space to do the road widening and the sidewalk.
But it requires a small retaining wall in order to accommodate those improvements.
Right. Oh, I understand. So if we obtained some right away from that neighbor, we could have sloped it, but because we're not. Okay, I get it.
Right.
All right. Is that tree clearing? Was that done by the city in
Yes.
preparation for this?
It was, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I'm okay with consent.
Consent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes, I believe, our discussion items, unless someone corrects me. And we will go to our next section of public comment. You will have 3 minutes when I call your name. Please approach the microphone. When you get there, introduce yourself and you'll have 3 minutes. I'm going to go through the cards of people who didn't speak who didn't get to speak at the last session. And then I have the cards of people that had signed up. Ben Jordan. Ben Jordan. Okay. Joe Hirsch. I saw Joe leave. Oh, Ben Jordan. He put another card in. Jason. Junior. Did he leave? Oh, he's here. Okay. All right, sir, you'll have 3 minutes at the mic. Once you're at the microphone, introduce yourself, please.
All right. Hi, I'm Jason Hunyar again. Mayor Deutsch, what you said was patently false about being transparent with the public. I've sent you 14 emails before last week. You've never responded to one. Yet when I show you evidence of Flock employees looking at the gymnastics center of the MJCC, you went down, instead of meeting with me, you went down and met with their CEO. It really makes me concerned that instead of meeting one of your tax-paying constituents, that instead of being willing to meet with me, you want to go meet with the CEO of a private company whose employees are looking at children in gymnastics studios and pools. As far as the city, I have sent so many emails to the city manager who has never responded before today, besides a deferral to Chief Carlson. You mentioned that you've been transparent with contracts, and I would love to share this with all the media, all the emails that I have. We have technologies in Dunwoody that we don't even have contracts for. Flock Nova, let's take this for example. You go to the Flock Nova website on Flock's website. As a different product, do we have a contract for Flock Nova? Absolutely not. I sent a Freedom of Information Act request in for it. What is on the Flock Nova website? Oh, it's Flock Nova with the tile of Dunwoody. My house is in this screenshot, and we have no contract for it. That is not transparency. I have asked multiple times what authorizes this. No response whatsoever. Is this a software enhancement? No. Go to Flock's website, go to products, scroll down. What does it say? Flock Nova, separate product. What do we use? Flock Freeform, separate product. Do we have contracts for any of this? No, absolutely not. And the city refuses to answer and give public comment about what technologies it's even using today. Yet you're trying to gate these technologies behind someone who won't even engage with us to tell us what we have today. I don't understand how you don't see how absurd that is. Who has access to Flock footage? Flock will not share, sell, or access your data. It might not be on their FAQ website because they've opted out of internet archiving, but as of 10 minutes before the meeting it was, and it says they will not access your data. I have audit logs showing Bob Carter looking at a gymnastics center of the JCC, as well as parks, playgrounds, and schools around Dunwoody. Who monitors the camera footage? Nobody from Flock Safety is accessing or monitoring your footage. Once again, I have evidence of Flock employees looking at parks, schools, playgrounds around Dunwoody, yet instead of meeting with us or meeting with your constituents to have concerns or having an open meeting like you suggested about an absolutely different topic, you hide behind a unanimous vote where you push forward an MSA and ignore all the concerns of all your citizens. Why are you going to meet with the CEO of a private company instead of meeting with your citizens who elect you, who pay taxes in this city? It makes no sense. It's not transparency.
Jacob Robinson. You'll have introduce yourself and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, Jacob Robinson. I am a new resident in Dunwoody. I've been here for about 8 months. He took pretty much everything I've been writing down for the past 2 hours, so that's not great, but we'll go with this anyways. I work in fraud, cybersecurity, and investigations. When we do a fraud investigation, we always look for a pattern of behavior. What I am hearing and what I have learned about the Flock Safety Program company over the course of the past couple of years, even working with friends in cybersecurity, is that it is rife with abuse. There's problems constantly, and all you are doing is opening yourselves up to liability, the city to liability, because what they're going to do is they're going to violate the MSA. What are you going to do when they violate the MSA? Are we going to have another meeting in a year where we go, well, we felt bad, and we asked them about it? And the sales department only does demonstrations with gymnastics with the gyms at the MJCC because that was one guy. But he only does that to demonstrate that it's safe to show kids to people who are not talking about this. Like, my daughter goes to a daycare down the street. I don't want her daycare to be broadcast around. And oh, that's Jacob's kid. You know what she gets to do? Somebody in California now knows that my daughter goes there. It doesn't matter whether you think this isn't a problem. We are afraid. The younger people in this community are afraid because we see these problems that are coming. You're talking about Flock like an abusive partner. Like, oh, if we just give them the right contract, they'll treat us fairly and they'll treat the people of this city fairly. They're not going to do that. They have a pattern of behavior. This is a private company that is, we're acting like we have to do business with them. Crime rates around the city are going down. We don't need to be going to get an extra 2% reduction in petty theft in Dunwoody by going and paying $215,000 to Flock Safety so that way every single child in this neighborhood and in this city can be publicized. It's not that important. This is a safe community. The police do good work here. Trust them to do good work. And to the conversation about open and transparent meetings, you're talking about streetlights and open and transparent meetings. Yeah, sure. There's accountability on whether the streetlights on my street get put in. But guess what? I'm lucky I have one of the streetlights on my street. I don't have to worry about that. But we're talking about a private business that is the moment this MSA goes into effect, behind the wall. No one gets to see it until somebody sues. And then my job most times is to come in and I get to find out that everybody knew that this was the problem. The people at Flock know that this is the problem, and they've been covering it up for years and years, and you're just buying into this product because that's what everyone else does. Think critically about what you're doing to our kids.
Kenneth Westmoreland. You'll have 3 minutes. Introduce yourself.
I'm not interested in talking to these people. I'm interested in talking to you guys. This was a small encounter in a fight, which if we win, can result in the end of Flock Corporation, the abolition of ALPRs, all of these people losing their jobs. But if we're going to do that is dependent on whether or not we learn the lessons from coming here that we have learned today. Last meeting we came, some people were disruptive. They didn't vote. They pushed the vote back. This meeting, we sat here silently and we let them vote this contract through unanimously. We didn't do anything to stop that. We didn't do anything to make sure that in our homes and in our communities, they're not putting these cameras up. They have shown us who they are. This guy over here, he just nods at anything anybody says as if he's listening, right? Didn't ask any questions afterward, didn't say shit, just voted the contract through. These people are corrupt, but whether or not Flock continues to be in our communities is not up to them. It is up to us. And what we have to do is recognize that we can make sure, regardless of whatever corrupt, phony vote these potential pedophile enabling little Epsteins make, that we can make sure that Flock is not going to survive.
Oliver Smith. Oliver Smith.
Hi, I'm Oliver. Yeah, I just want to second everything about corrupt, phony. I want to come up here and congratulate the council on the strength and health of the democracy that we have here in Dunwoody. Really impressive display today, guys. I was really impressed. I was really pleased. I wanted to point out a couple of really great moments when Mayor Augusta Pinochet over here talked about transparency, which we've been informed is a lie by our wonderful friend Jason over here. But even if she was being transparent about what? Screwing us over? I mean, there was like no deliberation. You can be transparent about how you're gonna move forward with the Flock contract despite basically unanimous public comment against the Flock contract. you presented us two ways we could move forward with the flock contract. You would think the second option would be not moving forward with the flock contract instead of we could either do it this way or we could do it that way. Oh, and then later on, what was really great was Councilman Mussolini over here decided to talk about how this posturing about how we were putting up this great resistance and flock has had more trouble in the city than any other city. We're being really careful. Very quick, unanimous vote. What incredible resistance you guys showed. I'm really impressed. Maybe if it was called Flock One-Way Streets instead of Flock Safety, we would have seen some actual pushback. But yeah, this was not a democracy. You weren't listening to your constituents. And as Kenneth said, I don't think any of us should be surprised. This is very, very reminiscent of the Atlanta City Council meetings, the many, many city council meetings where there was hours and hours and hours of public comment against Cop City. I think people in this area, Dunwoody, Atlanta, inside the perimeter, outside the perimeter, have made it very clear that this militarization, this escalation of policing and surveillance is not something the community wants. And all the city council members, whether it be in Dunwoody, whether it be in Atlanta, just sit here smugly as if they're listening and then unanimously vote all of this BS through, whether they're being transparent about it or not. So, yeah, great win for democracy today, guys. I cede my time.
Zach Humphreys, you'll have 3 minutes, sir. Introduce yourself at the microphone.
Back. Good to see you. I remember, I don't know. It's so wonderful to see all these young people here at Dunwoody City Council. I know for me, like, oh my gosh, like I spoke against this flop contract back in February of last year. And I was here, I was by myself. And like, there are times when like you feel very, very alone. And like, but yet you still speak out against something because like you believe it to be true. And, you know, and then I saw some continual contracts with Flock going. And then, you know, I see a wonderful person like Jason Hunyar who cares so much about this community. Like, thank you so much. Like, it means a lot. You know, I really appreciate our city employees for, you know, having to take in the time to deal with all of this, like all these problems, you know, and they're told to do this stuff, like, you know, that they're directed to do this. So, you know, I feel bad for the person, whoever the person was that made that like red light, yellow light, green light presentation. I feel like that probably took hours. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is, you know, young people are here. We're here finally. And, you know, y'all got to deal with us somehow. But, you know, I don't want people to be disheartened by what happened today. You know, we're gonna continue being involved in the community. We're gonna continue advocating for the things that we believe in, and that's an important part of democracy and community. And you know, I think it's unfortunate because these are the people who want parks, who want paths, who want like a greater, bigger future for Dunwoody, you know, who maybe might not mind a special purpose tax district if it meant that we changed systems that weren't with Flock, you know, if we created something internally. Like these could be your biggest advocates, but they're not because, you know, we try to talk to y'all, but y'all don't always listen to us. So I don't know where that leaves us. I hope that one day we can find that bridge, and find a future together. But, you know, we're here and I really appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Isaac Thomas. Okay, he left. That's you. Okay. Aaron Miller. Wait. Oh, okay. Introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm also going to turn around because I have nothing to say to them. They've proven themselves to be morally bankrupt and unfit for service. I want to talk to you. Sorry, I'm not great at speaking off the cuff, so I'm going to refer to my notes. We witnessed the system working exactly as it's designed to. They're elected by money in elections with very poor turnout because most people know that none of the options will fight for them. We saw that on display. And they remain through and through accountable to money and big corporate business interests and the racket of the police. Most of you are smart people, so I don't need to belabor the point that mass surveillance is part and parcel to authoritarianism. Tools that have mostly so far been used to repress poor people and to round up immigrants are increasingly being turned against journalists, professors, activists, and any political opponents of the current far-right regime. But we can't vote this out because our very own liberal city council just unanimously approved the expansion of this mass surveillance state against the wishes of their constituents. So I just want to encourage all of the intelligent people of good conscience here, not behind me, to meet each other, talk to each other, and start to get organized together, because it's going to be a long road ahead in the fight against big tech authoritarianism, and the people behind us clearly do not have our backs.
That concludes public comment. That's all the cards I have. Oh, when did you put a card? Okay. It's called liar. Oh, if you'll just come up and introduce yourself. 3 minutes. I don't think, oh. Okay. You'll have 3 minutes.
So I guess we're going to do the same thing that you did before. So I know someone that's not here now that actually came early and they wanted to talk, but somehow their card didn't get pulled. Interesting. So I'm just gonna, I love you guys, but I do want to talk to you guys. I'm truly disgusted by all you guys trying to renew this contract. I really hope that you really think about this vote when your children and your grandchildren are being watched by neighborhood pedophiles, or when your daughters, nieces, aunts, moms are being stalked. Blood is on your hands. All of you guys. Blood is on your hands. I rewatched the last meeting. Your words, you already told me everything I needed to know. Saying, oh, we're going to do this right this time. You already said that you were going to vote last time, but somehow that changed. And we do need to stand up sometimes. And one thing I could say is it's money. It's definitely it's money. You let me down, but you also let the people behind me down, your neighbors and your community. It's definitely money. You lack morals, principles, and my city of Dunwoody deserves better than all you guys. Yeah. So let's keep the good fight. Actually, I got a minute and a half. So yeah, let's just do this. Let's keep the good fight. Let's keep going. And let's remember these people when it's time to election to not vote any of these losers or dummies or puppets. That's it.
That includes the cards I have. Do you have? So there's liar because we're 12. And then there's, I can't read it, but I think it's Al. You want to say what it says? I can't read it. Al, oops.
All cops?
You're going to insult my police department?
Yes.
Okay, go right ahead.
All
You have
cops are
3
bastards.
minutes.
That's my name. Thank you.
Okay,
That's how it's pronounced. Thank you. You can start my 3 minutes.
you can start your 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm here today because I was brought up not too far from here and now study downtown at Georgia State.
As proof of flock blighting not only random suburbs, but anywhere its poles are planted, students have identified at least 6 sneaky flock cameras surrounding student housing, which, as a side note, have been flooding recently, resulting in the relocation of hundreds of students with no reparations for their damages. It has been documented on several occasions by reputable Atlanta journals that these cameras have been used by ICE to kidnap immigrants. Not only is this university implicated in this anti-people crime, but so is Flock. You don't need a bright head on your shoulders to catch that Flock isn't here for our safety. If the extent of their accountability is telling us sorry for spying on local kids minding their own damn business at the pool, who will answer for their further abuses of the community at large? We will not forget who invited Flock into Dunwoody when they operate with impunity. You think the absence of a turnpike is detrimental to the community, but not mass surveillance? You think any of us will benefit in the long run from this? Keep dreaming, little Epsteins. Master service agreements, my ass.
That concludes public comment. And now it is a city manager comment.
We do need an executive session for legal.
Thank you. And council comments? Any council comments? Lemonade Days is next week. Really, next weekend? Not this weekend, but next weekend. Oh, yeah, it's not till May though. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, I need a motion to
Move to exit to executive session for purposes of legal.
Second.
Yep. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. I need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Stacy.
Second.
Second by Tom, all in favor. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 6-0.